Chapter 23:30. Paijishan had been picking them up from the parking lot for the past few days, and he'd come early every day without fail. Today, Paijishan didn't show up, and Meng Yao was a little surprised. She was wondering if she should give him a call when she saw Yushu running towards a black Jeep. Meng Yao's heart tightened when she saw the familiar plate number on the Jeep. Was he back? She shook her head with a bitter smile. Thinking that Shu had really sharp eyes, she'd spotted Lin Yi's car right away, and she was still looking for Paijishan's BMW X5M. Shield bro, you're back. I've missed you for Yao Yao. Yushu opened the door to the front passenger seat and got in. She then turned to Meng Yao. Yao Yao, do you want me to give you the front passenger seat? You sit. Meng Yao was too embarrassed to sit in front. She shook her head and walked over, smiling at Lin Yi. You're back? Yeah, I'm back. Lin Yi smiled as well. He didn't know why, but Lin Yi felt that there was an indescribable connection between him and the Mississippi. One look, one smile, and they understood each other's concern and longing for each other. Wow, Yao Yao, you and Shield bro seem to have a dick. Since when did you two become so in sync? Yushu said with an evil smile as she looked at Meng Yao and Lin Yi. Meng Yao's face reddened as she glared at Yushu. It's usually the thief calling the thief. Yeah, someone said it's the thief calling the thief. Yushu said, can't you be a little more stupid at times like this? Meng Yao was speechless. Shu's never been stupid. Yushu said, all right, you guys get in. Lin Yi felt a very familiar and warm feeling as he looked at the two arguing. It was as if this was the kind of life he'd wanted. For the sake of Lin Yi, I won't argue with you. Missy got into the back of the car. See, I told you there's a JQ, right? Why else would you give Shield bro face instead of Shu, your sister of 10 years? Yushu said with a look of understanding. You. The miss felt a sense of defeat. Arguing with Yushu was just asking for trouble. These days, it's all thanks to you guys. A lot of things have happened at home. Thank you. Lin Yi smiled and interrupted their quarrel. You have to thank Sister Yao Yao. She was the one who helped us. Yushu said, she's always telling old Pai and Paijishan not to worry, saying that you're coming back soon, but Shu always knew that Shield bro never called. Meng Yao's face reddened even more. She didn't expect Shu to find out so early. But judging from how Shu found out when she was on the phone with Lin Yi, Shu really did have the potential to be a spy. Nothing could escape her eyes and ears. It's my fault. Thank you. Lin Yi didn't expect Meng Yao to be so troubled at home, but it made sense. Old Pai and Paijishan didn't know what he was capable of, so it was normal for them to be worried. Only Chuntian knew that his injuries could be healed, but old Pai wouldn't believe him 100%. It's nothing. Meng Yao looked at Han Xiaoqiao, who wasn't far away. Han Jingjing is coming. Let's not talk about this. Meng Yao rarely told Han Jingjing about these things. Although Lin Yi seemed to trust Han Jingjing a lot, Meng Yao still felt that there was something wrong with Han Jingjing. She couldn't tell if it was evil, but she just felt that Han Jingjing was a bit weird. Han Jingjing didn't see her BMW X5M when she arrived at the parking lot, but saw her brother standing beside a Jeep. She paused, realizing that it was Lin Yi. She ran over excitedly and got in the car, sitting in the middle of the second row. Lin Yi bro, you're back? Yeah, I just got back today. How is it? Any progress on the pill refining side? Lin Yi asked. Sigh. Speaking of this, Jing Jing has a slight headache. Is Jing Jing an idiot? Every day, I can only refine a second-grade elixir. After that, I'll feel weak and exhausted. I have to rest for a night before I can continue refining elixirs. Han Jingjing put on a long face and said with some annoyance, even if Jing Jing wanted to use scientific alchemy to refine a few more batches of pills at once, I couldn't succeed because refining more batches of pills requires more physical strength. Jing Jing couldn't hold on and wasted 2 batches of materials. That's fine. So if I make one a day, can I guarantee 100% success rate? Lin Yi asked. Yeah, if I don't succeed, then I'd be an idiot. Han Jingjing nodded. That's already very impressive. Even if a normal Tier 2 alchemist is prepared to refine a Tier 2 elixir pill, it's still impossible for them to succeed 100% of the time. Lin Yi was disappointed, but Han Jingjing's success rate was close to 100%. What was there to be dissatisfied about? Is that so? Then it seems that Jing Jing can do it. It's just that she doesn't have enough stamina. Han Jingjing sighed. If she had enough stamina, she could use scientific methods to make multiple pills at once. Oh. Lin Yi suddenly thought of a way to solve Han Jingjing's problem. What if he and Han Jingjing worked together, and Han Jingjing was making pills while he was behind her, supplying and replenishing her qi? Wouldn't that solve the problem? Lin Yi bro, do you have a way? Han Jingjing saw Lin Yi's thoughtful expression and asked quickly. Yeah, I have a way. I'll ask you to test it tonight. Lin Yi said. Yeah. Han Jingjing nodded happily. Lin Yi bro is better than Jingjing. You thought of a solution as soon as you came back. You're amazing. Yushu, on the other hand, curled her lips. This Han Jingjing was too good at acting cute. She didn't even blush when she said those words. Even if she liked Shield Bro, she wouldn't flatter him like this. Han Jingjing sat beside Ming Yao, and Han Xiaoqiao sat beside Han Jingjing. Lin Yi started the car and drove out of the school towards the direction of Shueshang District. He still had 3 portions of the Meridian Opening Pill, but if they were wasted, then he could only use the materials for the Lesser Qi Gathering Pill. That would be a waste. Okay, but if you simulate it, you won't be able to see the actual effects. It won't be of much use. It'll just waste your energy, Han Jingjing said. That's fine. I just want to see if my true qi can be used by you. Lin Yi said. If my true qi can be used by you, then you can use the actual materials to test it. Okay, Jingjing, shall we start now? Han Jingjing picked up the 2nd level cauldron and asked Lin Yi. Yes, let's start. Lin Yi nodded. His hands clasped Han Jingjing's wrist where the meridians were, and Han Jingjing began to condense the alchemy fire, preparing to simulate alchemy. Soon, Han Jingjing's alchemy fire was condensed, and then she began to simulate alchemy. Lin Yi began to circulate the 2nd level of the Art of Dragon Mastery, preparing to replenish the true qi in Han Jingjing's body. But soon, Lin Yi discovered a problem. That was, Han Jingjing's body didn't absorb his true qi at all. The 2nd level of the Art of Dragon Mastery only circulated in Lin Yi's body, and the true qi was also limited to circulating in Lin Yi's body. It didn't enter Han Jingjing's body at all. Big brother Lin Yi, there's no true qi? Han Jingjing also felt this. Her alchemy was completely according to the formula and timetable made on the tablet. She didn't use her own wood attribute to sense the changes in the medicinal herbs in the cauldron, so she could be distracted and talk. Yes, there's really no. Lin Yi smiled bitterly. When you're refining, can you circulate the mantra of the alchemist's cultivation at the same time? This can't be. Han Jingjing shook her head. Jingjing can only circulate the mantra of condensing the alchemy fire. I can't circulate the mantra of the cultivation at the same time. Then it probably won't work. Lin Yi let go of Han Jingjing's hands and sighed with some depression. Only when you circulate the mantra of the cultivation, I can input true qi into you. When you circulate other mantras, my true qi won't be automatically absorbed by you. It seems that my idea can't be realized. Previously, Lin Yi was still happy for his sudden idea, but now that he had tried it, he found that it didn't work, which made Lin Yi very disappointed. Then, do I still need to simulate it? Han Jingjing asked. I'll try to input it directly from your Qi-Hai acupoint, but I may have to touch your abdomen. Lin Yi hesitated and said, Oh, okay. Han Jingjing nodded. You are a girl. It's okay if I touch you like this, right? Lin Yi saw that Han Jingjing didn't seem to understand that men and women shouldn't touch each other, so he added a sentence. Of course it's okay. It's okay for big brother Lin Yi to touch, but others can't. Han Jingjing said naturally. Lin Yi really couldn't understand why Han Jingjing, who suddenly appeared and became his neighbor, would be so close to him. It seems that what I said is right. She still admires me. It's a bit weird. However, Lin Yi could also feel from Han Jingjing's eyes that she didn't have any malice toward him, and she really didn't have any cultivation strength. She didn't seem like an enemy's spy. Chapter 23:32. So, if she really was sent by his opponent, then he had to thank his opponent. Thank him so much, he knew he didn't know how to concoct elixirs, so he sent him a mobile cauldron. Lin Yi saw that Han Jingjing's expression was not strange, so he simply did not pretend. He directly pressed his hand on Han Jingjing's Qi-Hai acupoint and continued to run the second layer of the art of dragon mastery. However, the result this time still disappointed Lin Yi. Han Jingjing still couldn't absorb Lin Yi's true qi. In other words, Lin Yi's assumption was a complete failure. "What's wrong, brother Lin Yi? Did you fail again?" Han Jingjing saw Lin Yi's disappointed look and asked quickly. It failed again." Lin Yi nodded. "It seems that this assumption is not good. I can only give up." "It doesn't matter. Brother Lin Yi is thinking of a way for Jingjing. Jingjing is already very grateful. If it doesn't work this time, there will be a next time. Jingjing's alchemy can't be successful in one try." Han Jingjing was not disappointed to Lin Yi. "Hee, it seems that it is impossible for me to use my true qi to assist you in alchemy." Lin Yi shook his head and said, "You can only find ways to improve your strength as soon as possible. You are now an Earth Stage master. I guess the Earth Stage is also the limit of a second-grade alchemist. Even if you can condense a third-grade alchemy fire, you can't refine a third-grade alchemy pill. Brother Lin Yi, you don't have to worry too much. You want to sacrifice yourself to help Jingjing alchemy. Jingjing is already very grateful." Han Jingjing comforted. "Sacrifice myself?" After listening to Han Jingjing's words, Lin Yi suddenly had a flash of inspiration in his mind. He seemed to think of something. "Yes, sacrifice yourself." Lin Yi was very familiar with this sentence. He seemed to have heard it once, and it seemed to be very important. Yes, Lin Yi suddenly remembered what he thought of. That was, when he was hiding in the Han family. In the Han family scripture pavilion, Lin Yi saw an ancient supplementary martial art. According to old Han's introduction, that martial art could replenish energy and true qi for the people around him, but at the cost of one's own strength and true qi. It was a martial art that sacrificed oneself to help others. At that time, Lin Yi felt that this martial art should be of some use. Moreover, using it on Lin Yi's own body, the side effects weren't that big. This was because whether Lin Yi used up his true qi or dropped a level, he could use the Jade Space's energy to replenish and recover in the shortest amount of time. This was completely different from others. He had a unique advantage. However, Lin Yi's mind was on the hidden family summit. Although he had copied this martial art, he didn't think too much about it. Later, because he accompanied Sun Jingyi to the Wulong Haut Mountains, he didn't have time to study it. Now that he thought about it, this martial art was simply tailor-made for him and Han Jingjing. After he cultivated this martial art, he could use it to restore his own strength and true qi. However, he didn't know under what state would his own people be able to accept this martial art. Did he have to circulate the mantra he had learned during cultivation, or could he accept it in his normal state or in a battle state? Would they be able to accept it actively or passively? Thinking about this, Lin Yi didn't want to stay a moment longer. He wanted to go back and take a closer look at the martial art that was copied in the hidden Han family and see if Han Jingjing could use it. "Jingjing, you really are my little lucky star. You really woke me up with a single sentence and reminded me." Lin Yi was so happy that he almost hugged Han Jingjing and kissed her. He stretched out his hand and put it down resentfully. "I have a martial art that can probably solve this situation. I have to go back and study it. Don't refine pills for these 2 days. Wait for me to study it first before continuing." Okay, but Jingjing didn't do anything. It was all Lin Yi's ideas. Han Jingjing never took credit for herself. "Hee, Jingjing, you really helped me a lot." Lin Yi smiled. "I was so excited just now that I almost hugged you and kissed you." "Really? Did Jingjing help?" Han Jingjing didn't say anything on the surface, but there was a faint but imperceptible disappointment in her eyes. "Okay, I'll go back first. You should rest early too," Lin Yi said to Han Jingjing. His mind was focused on going back and looking at the martial art, so he didn't see the abnormality in Han Jingjing's eyes. Then Jingjing will sleep for a few days. I haven't slept in for a long time. Jingjing, go to bed early today." Han Jingjing said she was sleepy and said with a yawn. It seemed that recently, she was really tired. Every day, she studied and refined second-grade medicinal pills. She had exhausted her energy to the limit. "Have a good rest." Lin Yi nodded and said goodbye to Han Jingjing. He quickly returned to his villa. Until he left Han Jingjing's villa, Lin Yi was still a little confused. This Han Jingjing, the timing of her appearance and the help she gave him were too strange. He hoped it was really not a bad thing. After all, humans weren't plants. How could they be emotionless? Linny had been interacting with Han Jingjing for a while now, and he was starting to like this girl who was terrifyingly smart and heartless. When Linny returned to the villa, Wu Chintian, Wu Gonggao, Pai Jishan, Pai Jihai, and Elder Pai were all chatting in the living room. The Miss and Shu weren't there. "Mr. Lin, boss, you're back." When they saw Lin Yi, they all stood up to talk to Lin Yi. Even the sky-class Elder Pai didn't hold back in front of Lin Yi. He didn't act like a junior, but the head of a vassal house of Lin Yi. "You don't have to be so polite in the future." Lin Yi smiled bitterly. "Wu Chintian, you weren't like this before. Why are you playing these games now that there are so many people?" "Haha, didn't I think it would be more formal when there are more people?" Chintian scratched his head and turned to Elder Pai. "Elder Pai, boss is a nice guy. No need to be so courteous. What he cares about is whether or not we're doing things for him sincerely, not etiquette." "Where are Yao Yao and Shu?" Lin Yi asked casually. "The miss went upstairs," Chuntian said. "It's not convenient for them to go downstairs with us guys. You know it's not convenient, so why aren't you going back to your rooms? You're hogging the living room." Lin Yi didn't know whether to laugh or cry. Chapter 23:33. Lin Yi nodded and said, "Pai Jishan, get ready with Elder Pai and Elder Wu. I'll help you guys level up later. I have something to do now, so I'll go back to my room first." "Okay, we'll wait for you." Pai Jishan heard that Lin Yi was going to help him level up, so he quickly replied. After Lin Yi returned to his room, the first thing he did was to find the supplementary martial arts technique that he copied from the hidden Han family and study it carefully. This martial skill was called Spring Rain from the Heavens. Although it was also divided into 20 moves, there was no difference in strength between the moves of each level. The only difference was that the first move could instantly restore the physical strength and true chi of one person. The second move could restore the physical strength and true chi of 2 people. The third move could restore the physical strength and true chi of 3 people, and so on. At most, it could restore the physical strength and true chi of 20 people at once. Of course, although the number of recovery increased, the total amount of physical strength and chi recovered was still the same. It was just that it was evenly divided from 1 person to 2, 3, or even more. The amount of physical strength and chi recovered was completely dependent on the user's will and time. In other words, if Lin Yi wanted to, he could keep using it until his physical strength and chi were all used up. This might be a super nightmare for others, but for Lin Yi, it was no problem. After all, Lin Yi was different from others. His physical strength and chi were all used up, but he could still recover quickly. This martial arts technique was really not bad, but under what circumstances could it be used? Lin Yi continued to look, but the usage conditions at the back made Lin Yi happy. Basically, it meant that there were no usage conditions. This was because this supplementary martial arts technique was active for the user, but for the recipient, it was passive. After all, even if the recipient was an enemy, after the martial arts technique was used, they wouldn't be at a disadvantage. So no one would be stupid enough to let the enemy use it. And no matter what state their own people were in, whether they were fighting or doing nothing, they could still accept Lin Yi's physical strength and chi transfer. That's it. After Lin Yi finished reading, he was overjoyed. This martial skill was practically tailor-made for him and Han Jingjing. Han Jingjing was refining pills on the other side and had no stamina and chi, but Lin Yi could continuously replenish her energy. Under the situation where she didn't have to be distracted, she could unknowingly recover her stamina, allowing her to smoothly complete the process of refining pills. After confirming this, he wasn't in a rush anymore. He just needed to slowly master this technique, and he'd be able to help Han Jingjing concoct pills. What he needed to do now was to raise Pai Jishan, Elder Pai, and Wu Gonggao's strength. He left the room to see Grandma's son, who was cleaning up the living room. She smiled when she saw Lin Yi. "Mr. Lin, I called Li Fu just now. He said he's already here." "All right." Lin Yi nodded and went to Chuntian's room. The night passed peacefully, and the next morning, Pai Jishan and Elder Pai both stepped into Mystic Late Phase Peak. Although they were Mystic Late Phase Peak, they didn't have Pai Jihai's comprehension. They couldn't break through to Earth class in one go. Perhaps only someone like Pai Jihai, who only cared about martial arts, could break through in such a short amount of time. Others were busy with work. Even if old Pai was at the early phase of Sky class, he still couldn't break through to Earth class in such a short amount of time. No return for Elder Pai. Breaking through to Earth class or even higher was just a matter of time. With Pai Jihai as an example, he wasn't in a hurry to take the small chi gathering pill. It was also a matter of face. He was already a Sky class master, and if he couldn't break through to Earth class by himself, it would be too embarrassing. Pai Jishan, on the other hand, didn't have this problem. He wasn't a martial arts fanatic, and he was a junior. When he realized that he couldn't break through, he took the chi gathering pill, and with Lin Yi's help, he broke through to Earth class early phase, becoming a true dual practitioner Earth class early phase master. This made Pai Jishan very happy. Leveling up was easy and fun. He didn't think that he'd be able to achieve anything in the first place. After all, his main focus was on how to develop House Pai, and as a support, Pai Jihai would be enough for House Pai. But now, it seemed that leveling up was a pleasant surprise. What made Jihai the happiest was that he was able to hug onto Lin Yi's thighs. Lin Yi looked like an Earth class mid-phase master, but Lin Yi didn't have the power of an Earth class mid-phase master. If it wasn't someone close to Lin Yi, they wouldn't know about this. Thank you, boss. Pai Jishan cupped his fist. From now on, Jihai and I will be boss's powerful follower. We won't hesitate to climb mountains or swim seas. Elder Wu, it's your turn now, Lin Yi said. It's a bit slower than expected, and I had some personal matters to take care of, but you'll be able to level up soon. No rush, no rush, Gonggao said in fear. It all depends on Mr. Lin's time. Then let's start now. Faubert will be here soon. Let's settle your stuff first. Lin Yi nodded. Wu Gonggao was the weakest among them, and he didn't have the support of an external style, so it was hard for him to level up his internal style. Wu Gonggao's external style was still at the middle phase of the mystic class, and once he surpassed the middle phase of the mystic class, the process of leveling up would be painful. Fortunately, Gonggao was very patient. Physical practitioners like him might not be strong in other areas, but they were rare in terms of endurance. Back then, Xintian had been in great pain, but he had been able to endure it. Very quickly, Wu Gonggao's spiritual qi reached the peak of the late phase of the mystic class, but he needed to rely on the qi gathering pill to break through. Otherwise, it would be impossible for him to break through to the earth class. Although he knew from Xintian that Lin Yi could help people level up, he was still quite shocked after experiencing it firsthand. He looked at Lin Yi, who didn't seem to be proud of himself at all, with a complicated feeling in his heart. By the time they finished, it was already 9 in the morning. But it was Saturday, so they didn't have to worry about school. Chapter 23:34. The Miss and Shu hadn't woken up yet, and even if they did, they were still playing in their bedroom. My friend will be here to discuss some things. You guys can discuss breakfast on your own, Lin Yi said. Grandma's son has something to do as well. Since Grandma's son was going to be with them, they didn't have much food to eat. Okay, no problem. We'll go buy some food now. We've been in Donghai for so long, and we haven't had a chance to walk around. Old Pai was a shrewd old man, and naturally knew that Lin Yi was avoiding them. Even if they didn't listen, it would be awkward at home, so they might as well leave. I'll call you guys after I'm done here, Lin Yi said. What he meant was, don't come back until I call you guys. No problem. Pai Jishan agreed quickly, and so, Xintian and the others didn't waste any time and left the villa. Old Pai came with his car, but it was parked in the public parking lot, and there was no more space in the villa. Mr. Lin, why is there still my business? Grandma's son asked curiously after Xintian and Pai Jishan left. It's about you and Faubert, but we can only talk about it privately. Lin Yi said, I'll go check on Skybolt Pig and Purple Thunderbolt Beast first. Call me when Faubert comes. Okay, Grandma's son nodded. She didn't know what it was, but since Lin Yi said that, it must be something important. Lin Yi walked to the villa's backyard. After Skybolt Pig came back yesterday, he went to tell Purple Thunderbolt Beast and General Weiwu about what he saw and heard. When Lin Yi walked over, he was still excitedly talking to Purple Thunderbolt Beast and General Weiwu. Seeing that Linny had arrived, the little fellow stopped talking. However, Linny could guess that it was probably talking about the fire lion race and the spider race. Feng, I'll have to trouble you with Wang Xinyan's matter when I'm not here. Lin Yi walked over and rubbed the purple lightning beast's head. Roar. The purple electric tempest beast smiled shyly, as if it was embarrassed by Lin Yi's politeness. Lin Yi nodded. The purple electric tempest beast was his contracted spiritual beast, so it was his duty to help him. Lin Yi naturally couldn't be arrogant, so he didn't say anything more. Instead, he asked, Little Feng, how did you do it with the true qi you injected into Pai Jihai's body? Can I do it? Roar, roar. The purple electric tempest beast pointed at itself and nodded. Then, it pointed at Lin Yi and shook its head. What do you mean? You can do it, but I can't? Lin Yi roughly understood what the purple electric tempest beast was trying to say. Oink, oink. Skybolt Pig translated for Lin Yi and started writing on the sand. Feng said that this is a special ability of spirit beasts, because their pure energy doesn't come from using their practitioner's arts. They can transfer it to others, but humans can't. Even I can't do it. Lin Yi felt that he was the special one. Roar. The purple electric tempest beast shook its head and explained to Lin Yi. It said that you can't do it either, and this kind of attack isn't very useful. Sky Thunder Pig continued to write, most of the time, this kind of thing can't enter a person's body. Only when the person is an external martial artist without chi protection will it be effective. Internal martial artists with chi protection will not be able to enter their body unless they are unknowingly ambushed. However, it can only be used to ambush low-level experts. High-level experts will notice before they even get close. Moreover, not all of them are useful against physical practitioners. For example, those physical practitioners with golden bell cover and iron shirt can't inject true qi. Experts who use some special method to change the position of meridians and acupoints are also ineffective because true qi can't be injected into their bodies. So that's how it is. Seeing Skybolt Pig's translation, Lin Yi's enthusiasm decreased a lot. Most of the people Lin Yi met were internal practitioners. There were very few physical practitioners, so this ability was a little useless. Roar, roar. The purple electric tempest beast nodded and roared a few more times. It said, can't your true qi bomb also hit people? Why must you learn it? Skybolt Pig translated. The true qi bomb can only hurt people, and it needs to be compressed. It's a little troublesome. It's not like your true qi bomb that can make the enemy faint in pain. Lin Yi shook his head and said. He was a little disappointed. He thought too much, but thinking about it carefully, it was normal. If the spirit beast's true qi was this powerful, wouldn't it be invincible? Lin Yi decided not to study the purple electric tempest beast's ability for now. If he had the time, he might as well study the supplementary martial skill, Heavenly Spring Rain. Showy. Lin Yi was just about to study the supplementary martial skill when he heard Faubert's voice from behind. Faubert, you're here? Lin Yi turned around and saw Faubert and Grandma's son standing in the mansion. Yeah, I went to an event with Mr. Chu last night and couldn't come. I came early this morning. Mr. Chu is here too. He's upstairs talking to Miss Chu. Faubert said, I heard from Luoyin that you have something to talk to me about. Yeah, there's something I need to talk to you and Grandma Sunday. Lin Yi nodded and said, let's go to my room. Okay. Faubert didn't think that Lin Yi would have to hide something from others. Normally, they could talk in the living room since Pengzhan went upstairs. But Lin Yi said to go to his room. It was a secret. Lin Yi, Faubert, and Grandma's son went to his room. Lin Yi sat on the bed while Faubert and Grandma's son sat on the sofa in Lin Yi's room. Lin Yi gave each of them a bottle of water and said, I'll tell you this. You have to be mentally prepared. Mentally prepared? Faubert paused. He didn't think that Lin Yi would start with this. Xiao Yi, what happened? Faubert, your sect is located in the Wulong Haut Mountains, right? Lin Yi didn't answer Faubert's question but asked instead. Oh? Faubert's eyes widened and looked at Lin Yi in disbelief. Xiao Yi, how did you know? I don't think I've told you about this before. Chapter 23:35. So, it's true. Linny had already guessed that Faubert's sect was destroyed in Wulonghout Mountains, but seeing Faubert admitted himself, Linny still sighed. So, the world was just this small. That's right. Faubert nodded. Since you asked, I won't deny it. I didn't tell you before because I was afraid that you would be impulsive or leak the news. But Xiao, how did you know about this place? A while ago, I went out. Do you know where I went? Linny asked. Of course I know you went out. Luoying told me on the phone. But where you went, how would I know? Li Fu was a bit puzzled. Lin Yi's sudden change in topic was too big, jumping from the previous topic to this one. Wulonghout Mountains. Linny nodded and said seriously, What? You went to Wulonghout Mountains? That's near Realita town. Why did you go there? Faubert was shocked after hearing Lin Yi's words. Why did you go there? I have to go back to a few months ago. I brought Xiao Xiao to the extreme north to seek medical help and participate in the Ice Palace's trial. Linny knew that this couldn't be explained in one go. He had to start from the beginning. Although Linny had told Faubert, Miss, Shu, and the others about the Ice Palace trial, he didn't tell them about the heaven-ranked monster. First, Linny didn't think it was important. Second, Linny didn't plan on keeping the map for himself. He just wanted to keep it safe for the monster, so he didn't mention this topic. But it was different now. He had to start from the first time he met the monster. Oh, what does it have to do with the Ice Palace trial? Faubert asked curiously. Just as Linny thought, Faubert knew about the Ice Palace trial. After the Ice Palace trial ended, some things happened. It wasn't important at the time, so I didn't talk about it. But it has a lot to do with this matter, so I have to start from the beginning. Linny said and told Faubert about the heaven-ranked monster in the cave. At first, Faubert heard Lin Yi say that there was a heaven-ranked monster in the cave. He was a bit confused. But when he heard Lin Yi say that the monster called him Li Air and said something about escaping, Faubert's body suddenly trembled and he exclaimed, exclamation point. After that, he gave me half of the map. Linny smiled bitterly and took out the half of the map and gave it to Faubert. It seemed like his guess was right. Faubert was that Li Air. Little E, the heaven-ranked monster you met is mine. It's definitely mine. Faubert took Lin Yi's map with trembling hands and looked at it. He said with more certainty, That's right. This map is the treasure map of the Wulonghout mountain range. Back then, I also had half of it. Sun Luoyue was at a loss because she couldn't remember the past. However, she also felt Uncle Fu's strange emotions. She silently hugged his arm, as if she was comforting him and cheering for him. Before this, I didn't know that you two were related and didn't think in this direction. So, please forgive me for not telling you this, said Lin Yi. Little E, you didn't do anything wrong. Instead, I have to thank you for helping me and relieving the pain of my headache. Faubert waved his hand and said solemnly, Also, since this map was given to you, it proves that you and him are fated. This is your fortune. This is the origin of this half of the map, said Lin Yi. Huh. Yeah, this is only half of the map. You went to the Wulonghout mountain range to look for treasure? This half of the map is useless? Faubert suddenly thought of this problem and asked curiously, The other half of the map? You probably don't have it. I probably don't have it, but just before I went to the Wulonghout mountain range, I accidentally found the other half of the map. This is also the reason why I went to the Wulonghout mountain range, said Lin Yi. The other half of the map? Faubert suddenly stood up. The excitement made his words a little shaky. You? Where did you find the other half of the map? On a person's body. Linny said, Faubert, I went to the Wulonghout mountain range with another person. Grandma's son should know who this person is. Who? Faubert was stunned. Sun Luoyue just said that Linny went out with a friend. Where and with whom? Faubert didn't ask. At this moment, he turned to look at Grandma's son and asked, Sun Jingyi of the Sun family should be considered a relative of mine. Grandma's son didn't know the hidden story and said truthfully, Sun Jingyi. What? It's her? After hearing this, Faubert was stunned. Tears couldn't help but flow from his eyes. This was a kind of happiness that was hard to describe. It was the feeling and happiness of surviving a disaster. Xiao, what do you want to say? Sun Jingyi has a jade pendant, and the map was taken from the jade pendant. Linny said, and this time, In the Wulonghout mountain range, I met the Heaven Ranker again. One time, when the Heaven Ranker woke up, he suddenly realized that I wasn't Lear and wanted to harm me. But when Sun Jingyi stopped him, the Heaven Ranker said that she was Yuer, so he let me go. I think Faubert should understand who she is. This is also the reason why I'm looking for you in private. Luoyue, Jingyi is our daughter. Faubert held Sun Luoyue's hand excitedly and said very happily, so, our daughter didn't die and returned to the Sun family. She really didn't die. No wonder, when I first saw her, I felt that she was very familiar. I thought it was because she was a relative, but I didn't expect that she was our daughter. At this time, Sun Luoyue was also a little confused. Although she didn't remember the past, she still knew that she had a daughter who was killed by the enemy. When she thought about it, she would be sad, but she didn't expect that her daughter didn't die. Not dead, and it's still Sun Jingyi? Sun Luoyue was very surprised, and an expression of disbelief appeared on her face, but it was quickly replaced by a happy smile. No matter what, whether she remembered or not, it was always a good thing that her daughter didn't die. Chapter 23:36. Aside from that, we also discovered that so-called precious treasure of your sect. Lin Yi didn't give Faubert too much time to react. It's a strange white stone. What? You've even found the treasure? Where is it now? Faubert looked at Lin Yi with shock and excitement, but then Faubert shook his head. I'm sorry, Lin Yi. I was too excited. You found the treasure, so it should be yours. You didn't even say anything, so of course I won't ask for it back. It's gone even if you wanted it. I gave it to someone else. Lin Yi smiled and shrugged. Gave it to someone else? Faubert was shocked. Lin Yi took it for himself, so Faubert wouldn't say anything. But giving it to someone else made Faubert's heart ache. Who did you give it to? That thing is very precious. I gave it to Sun Jingyi, Lin Yi said. She went back to House Sun to use it. Huh. Faubert paused and didn't know whether to laugh or cry. Are you trying to scare me to death? I say, Lin Yi, what kind of gift is that? She's not an outsider, is she? Haha. Lin Yi laughed. Right. Does Jingyi know about this? Faubert suddenly asked. Nope. That's why I told you guys in private. It was all my suspicions and guesses. Jingyi doesn't know. Lin Yi shook his head. Because this is too complicated, and the enemy is too strong. I don't want her to know too much. She'll worry. That's why I came back to tell you guys. As for whether or not to tell her, it's up to you guys. Complicated? The enemy is too strong? Faubert paused and looked at Lin Yi. Enemy? What enemy? I fought with the people who destroyed your sect. Lin Yi told Faubert and Grandma Sun about what happened in Wulonghout Mountains. What? You fought with them? Faubert listened to Lin Yi's story and was shocked. He thought that Lin Yi went to Wulonghout Mountains to find the treasure according to the map. He didn't expect Lin Yi to have a life and death battle with the enemy. When he heard that Lin Yi and the Heaven Ranker worked together to kill an early-stage Heaven Ranker, Faubert was shocked. Thinking about Lin Yi and Sun Jingyi's dangerous journey, Faubert was worried for them. However, it was a close shave. In the end, they still came back. Lin Yi didn't hide anything. He told them about the Fire Lion clan and the Spider clan. He didn't even hide the fact that he went to the Tagan family and stole the refining method of the essence necklace. How is this close shave? Faubert breathed a sigh of relief. Literally, thank you. Thank you for protecting Jingyi along the way. I owe you another favor. Faubert, we're family. With our relationship, it's a bit like an outsider. Lin Yi waved his hand. Moreover, Sun Jingyi and I are also very good friends. Lin Yi couldn't help but blush. He and Sun Jingyi seemed to be lovers. There wasn't anything in the past. Faubert also knew about this relationship, but it was different now. Sun Jingyi was Faubert's daughter. If he and Sun Jingyi had something, how would he explain it to Faubert? So thinking about this, Lin Yi felt awkward and had a headache. He could only define their relationship as good friends. Haha. When Pengzhan was hospitalized, Faubert knew that Lin Yi, Sun Jingyi, and Ling Shan had an ambiguous relationship. Otherwise, the two wouldn't be going to the hospital all the time. Faubert didn't think too much about it then, and he didn't think too much about it now. Jingyi wasn't raised by me and Luoyue, so I don't have the right to interfere with her decisions. As long as she's happy, it's fine. Haha. Lin Yi could only smile bitterly. He quickly changed the topic. Right. Should we tell Jingyi? Don't tell her for now. Faubert sighed and shook his head. Although I really want to reunite with her, you said that the enemy is too strong. If I reunite with her, not only will it bring trouble to her, but it will also bring trouble to me and Luoyue. At that time, the trouble will definitely be transferred to you. So, for the sake of caution, it's better not to think too much. That's true, but isn't it a bit unfair to Jingyi? Lin Yi could see Sun Jingyi's loneliness and desolation. It had to do with her family background that her uncle didn't care for her, and her grandmother didn't love her. She didn't have parents since she was young, and House Sun didn't value her that much. If possible, it would be a good thing to let Sun Jingyi know about her parents. However, Faubert's concerns were also Lin Yi's concerns. Sun Jingyi showed her true face in front of Tagonlong. It was hard to guarantee that they wouldn't investigate Sun Jingyi's background. However, if they found out that she was from the Sun family, they could only suspect that she was a relative of Sun Luoyue. They wouldn't suspect that she was Sun Luoyue's daughter, since her surname was Sun. This was the same as Lin Yi didn't consider this before. He walked into the mistake of looking alike between relatives. Even if the Tagonlong family found Sun Jingyi, there wouldn't be any flaws if Sun Jingyi didn't reunite with Faubert and Grandma Sunday. They couldn't implicate Faubert and Grandma Sunday. The enemy was too strange and powerful, so there was nothing wrong with being careful. However, Tagonlong had to wake up first. Among the people who had seen Sun Jingyi, Razi had run away. No one from the Tagonlong family knew where Sun Jingyi was. It wouldn't be easy to find her with just a painting. This is indeed not fair, but there's no other way. If we get involved, Luoyue and I will be in danger. After all, Luoyue doesn't have any strength, and my strength isn't enough to protect them. Faubert sighed. That's fine. We'll talk about this later. Lin Yi nodded. As for strength, we'll slowly increase it. Here's a small chi gathering pill. Faubert, take it and upgrade yourself to the early phase of Earth class first. Small chi gathering pill? For me? Faubert was slightly stunned. He excitedly took the small chi gathering pill from Lin Yi. This thing wasn't a good thing in the ancient sects, but in Faubert's hands, it was a miracle medicine. Chapter 23:37. But now, it was different. This elixir could help him return to Earth class, and although it wasn't as stable as the treasure, he could slowly stabilize it. He wasn't in a hurry to get revenge. The hidden house pie has some. I'm coming over. Give one to everyone around me, Lin Yi said. Then I won't hold back. Faubert nodded and put the elixir away, preparing to use it when he got back. Right, Faubert, have you heard about the essence necklace? Lin Yi wanted to ask Faubert about it. I don't know. I was quite curious when you told me. I didn't know that the essence core of a spirit beast could be used to make this kind of necklace. Uncle Fu shook his head and said, however, it's useless even if you know about it. Spiritual beast inner cores are very rare, and most spiritual beasts will choose a secluded place to die when they die. It won't be easy for people to find their corpses and inner cores, so you're quite lucky to have found 2 inner cores. It seems like most people don't know about this secret. House Tagon is getting more and more complicated. Lin Yi sighed. As they were talking, they suddenly heard footsteps coming from the stairs outside. Lin Yi and Faubert were both practitioners, and naturally, they sensed it immediately. They looked at each other and stopped talking. Let's go take a look. Mr. Chu might be coming down, Faubert stood up and said. Okay. Lin Yi's matter was finished, and there was no need to worry about the rest. Sun Jingyi's identity could wait. There was no rush. Lin Yi, Faubert, and Grandma Sun left the room and saw Pengzhan coming down with Ming Yao and Yu Shu. Lin Yi, Faubert, and Grandma Sun also came out of the room. Pengzhan paused. You guys finished talking too? Yes. It's not a big deal. I just found some old clues and wanted to tell them about it. Lin Yi nodded and said, Uncle Chu, would you like to stay for lunch? Okay, we haven't had a meal together as a family for a long time. You and Yao Yao are in university now. We used to eat together on the weekends. Pengzhan nodded. Mr. Chu, Our company will soon set up a branch in East Ocean City, and we will be able to see each other often. Faubert said quickly. That's true, Peng Zhan said. But here in Donghai, there are many hidden dragons and crouching tigers. There are too many strong competitors, and they're completely different from Songshan. It won't be easy to get a foothold here. Linny nodded. He didn't know a thing about business, so he had no say in this matter. He couldn't ask Peng Zhan to tell him. After all, who were their competitors? And then he would go and kill it? This completely violated the normal order of business competition, and Lin Yi would never do such a thing. Daddy, I believe you and Faubert can do it. Meng Yao encouraged as she held Peng Zhan's hand. Haha, let's hope so, Peng Zhan said, but he wasn't very optimistic. In the beginning, he was ambitious. He wanted to move the company to the provincial capital to achieve his next goal of taking off. He wanted to double the size of the company. This was the dream of him and his father, Chu Sanhua. Mr. Lin, should we go out for lunch, or should I cook? Grandma's son asked. Let's go out, let's go together. It's too troublesome with so many people. Linny said. Okay. Grandma's son nodded. I'll get changed and get ready. 10 minutes later, Lin Yi drove Meng Yao and Yu Shu in his Jeep, and Faubert drove Grandma's son and Peng Zhan in his Bentley. The six of them headed to one of the biggest restaurants in Donghai, Arctic Ocean Seafood Restaurant. Zhang Duopan had treated them here last time, and they almost didn't have enough money to pay the bill. Peng Zhan, on the other hand, didn't have that problem. With Peng Zhan's status, he didn't care about money at all. Of course, Linny had a lot of money as well, but it was all Fatty Lie's real estate. He couldn't use it. Linny and Faubert parked the car, and the group got out. They were about to walk into the restaurant when a Rolls-Royce Ghost stopped right next to Faubert's Bentley. A balding, middle-aged man got out of the car, holding a woman in his arms. He smiled when he saw Peng Zhan. Huh, isn't this Mr. Chu? You're not a businessman from Donghai, coming to Arctic Ocean Seafood Restaurant to eat? Hizk. What a country bumpkin. Peng Zhan frowned slightly and said faintly, Mr. Lei, where I bring my family to eat, are you going to interfere? Isn't that a little too much? Haha, too much? I'm just reminding you out of goodwill, Mr. Chu. Songshan isn't a provincial city. It's different from a provincial city. Just like this restaurant, not everyone can come here. The fatty called Mr. Lei laughed. The chairman of this Arctic Ocean Seafood Restaurant is my friend, and also a member of our merchant association. Mr. Chu, it's best if you don't eat here. It'll be unpleasant. Are you threatening me? Peng Zhan was a little annoyed. He was just here for a meal, and this Lei Tianming was the chairman of Donghai Merchant Association. When he wanted to move the company to Donghai, this Lei Tianming had gathered many people from the Merchant Association to stop him, making it difficult for Peng Zhan's plans in Donghai. What he didn't expect was that he couldn't stop eating here, and even Lei Tianming wanted to interfere. It's not really a threat. I said it was a kind reminder. Lei Tianming smiled. All right, I'm going to eat, Mr. Chu. With that, Lei Tianming hugged the flirtatious woman and walked arrogantly towards the Arctic Ocean Seafood Restaurant. Linny frowned. It wasn't easy for the family to come out for a meal, and this baldy ruined the mood. If it wasn't for the fact that Linny saw him as a normal person, he would have killed him a long time ago. However, Linny wasn't going to let him go just like that. He looked at Shu, and Shu immediately understood what Linny meant. She cooperated and asked, Uncle Chu, who is this idiot? Pfft, ahem. Meng Yao didn't know whether to laugh or cry at Yushu's words. This girl was really fierce, scolding people directly. However, Meng Yao also knew that this was Lin Yi's idea. Linny was probably very annoyed with this Lei Tianming. Otherwise, with Lin Yi's personality, he wouldn't let Shu start a fight. Chapter 23:38. Little bastard. Who are you calling an idiot? Lei Daming turned around before Meng Yao could reply, his face dark as he stared at Yushu. Don't think you can be brainless just because you're big. Anyone who dares say something like that in front of me, Lei Daming, is either dead or out of Donghai. Shield bro. This person really is an idiot. Yushu said as she looked at Lei Daming with pity. Peng Zhan, are these your children? How uncultured. You're already so old. Don't get dragged down by your children and end up with no one to rely on. Lei Daming threatened. Make them kneel down and kowtow to me twice before kicking out of Donghai. Otherwise, don't even think about leaving. Peng Zhan, naturally, wasn't stupid. He could tell that Yushu was acting under Lin Yi's orders. He couldn't help but sigh. He didn't want to tell Lin Yi and his daughter about this, wanting to solve it himself. But now that Lin Yi had intervened, things could be resolved. Wouldn't that make him look useless? Peng Zhan didn't think that Lei Daming had the ability to do anything to Lin Yi, not just him. Even the noble houses and hidden houses had been trampled over by Lin Yi all the same. Lei Daming was just a normal businessman. What could he do even if he was the chairman of a merchant guild? Uncle Chu, this person is mentally ill. Don't interact with people like him when doing business in Donghai. It's inevitable that you'll become mentally ill. Lin Yi ignored Lei Daming and turned to Peng Zhan. Let's go eat. I'll make a call and introduce you to a few people from Donghai. You guys. Good, very good. Peng Zhan, are you sure you want to eat here? Lei Daming was furious. Although he had a high status in East Ocean City, his company wasn't the biggest in the city. But he was the chairman of a merchant guild in Donghai. It was a non-governmental organization, but being able to become the chairman of a merchant guild in such a short amount of time meant that he had a strong backing. In Donghai, Lei Daming was someone who could do whatever he wanted. As long as he was wary of those he couldn't mess with, he didn't care about anyone else. However, Lei Daming's words sounded like he was talking to himself. Lin Yi didn't bother with him at all, walking into the restaurant with Peng Zhan and the others with their chests puffed out, talking on the phone as they walked. Pia, come to the Arctic Ocean Seafood Restaurant. I have a senior who wants to do business in East Ocean City. You can come and visit him. Lin Yi made the call. He said to Han Xiaopa, Okay, boss, I'll be right there. Han Xiaopa quickly nodded. In fact, speaking of visiting, but it was because this person was Lin Yi's elder, Han Xiaopa understood. Lin Yi had asked him to come so that the hidden house of Han could take care of Peng Zhan in Donghai. The hidden house of Han was different from the hidden house of Zhao, as they kept a low profile and didn't have any businesses in Donghai. House Zhao, on the other hand, started building businesses in Donghai after testing the Hidden House Association to no avail, starting to make money in the common world. But the Hidden House Han's position was there, and as long as word got out that Peng Zhan was related to them, as long as Peng Zhan didn't go against the Hidden House Zhao in Donghai, the name of the Hidden House Han would be very useful. The Hidden House of Han kept a low profile and didn't do business because they didn't want the other hidden houses to worry about them. But now that they'd torn all pretenses at the Hidden House Summit, they didn't care anymore, especially when it came to helping Lin Yi. Of course, even if Peng Zhan went against the Hidden House of Zhao, Lin Yi would take care of it himself, and it wasn't something the Hidden House could worry about. And so, Han Xiaopa drove to the Arctic Ocean Seafood Restaurant as soon as he received the call. Lin Yi and the others went into the Northern Ice Sea Seafood Restaurant and booked a private room. They ordered some food and wine before going inside. About what happened just now, Peng Zhan said after entering the room. Li Fu and I wanted to take care of it ourselves. It wasn't a big deal after all. That person was just colluding with some merchants in Donghai to put pressure on Peng Zhan Industries. I didn't want to trouble you. Haha, Uncle Chu. I'm the second largest shareholder of Peng Zhan Industries. Are you trying to kick me out? Lin Yi smiled. He could see that Peng Zhan was in trouble, but he didn't think too much about it, thinking that it was just a normal business competition. But now, it seemed like that wasn't the case at all. This Lei Daming was completely targeting Peng Zhan, and Lin Yi, naturally, didn't want Peng Zhan to waste his time on him. Wasn't it a competition of who was more capable? That would be great. He could call the Hidden Han family, the local tyrant of the Eastern Sea, over to suppress him. How is that possible? Peng Zhan smiled. I'm already old, and Peng Zhan Industries will belong to you and Yao Yao in the future. But if you didn't mention it, I would have forgotten that you're still a board member of the company. You have the responsibility to contribute to the company. Lin Yi paused. Peng Zhan's words seemed to imply that he had the heart to give Peng Zhan Industries to him and the miss in the future. Although with Lin Yi's current wealth, he didn't need to care about these things. But when Lin Yi first came to Songshan, Peng Zhan's words hinted at this. The miss, naturally, understood the hidden meaning in her father's words. She blushed and lowered her head. not daring to look at Lin Yi. Oh, Yao Yao, Uncle Chu really is looking for Shield Bro as a son-in-law. Prophet Shu is amazing. He predicted it long ago. Yu Shu said happily. It's not like we're looking for a son-in-law for you. Why are you so happy? Meng Yao was even more embarrassed by Yu Shu's words. She glared at Yu Shu and said angrily, "Don't worry about it. You're the main wife, so I'm the second wife." Yao Yao, don't tell me you've forgotten? Yu Shu said with a serious face. Haha. Peng Zhan laughed. He wasn't unhappy that Yu Shu and his daughter were fighting over a man, but he was happy that the sisters could be together forever. His father, third brother Chu, said that a man like Lin Yi wouldn't be tied down by a woman. Peng Zhan didn't understand why his father was so sure, but his father's foresight was very accurate. Faubert and Grandma's son looked at each other speechlessly. They both saw a trace of happiness in each other's eyes. What was the relationship between Sun Jingyi and Lin Yi in the past? Was she Lin Yi's lover? Was she competing with the miss? It had nothing to do with Faubert or Grandma Sunday. They could only say that Sun Jingyi was their relative. Chapter 23:39. But things were different now. Sun Jingyi had become their daughter. Faubert would be in a tough spot if they were to fight for a man with Meng Yao. On one side was his biological daughter. On the other side was the miss who wasn't even his biological daughter, but was more like one. Plus, Peng Zhan, who had taken him in. Faubert was in a tough spot. But it seemed like Peng Zhan wasn't against it, and since Meng Yao could accept Tang Yun and Xiao Xiao, she might be able to accept Sun Jingyi as well. This made Faubert breathe a sigh of relief. The family was talking happily when the door of the private room was pushed open. They thought it was the waiter who came to serve the dishes, but the person who came in was not a waiter, but a person who looked like a lobby manager. "I'm sorry, everyone. Our chairman just called, saying that you are unwelcome guests of the Arctic Sea seafood restaurant. Please leave." As soon as the lobby manager came in, he didn't wait for anyone to ask and said this in a neutral tone. Peng Zhan didn't think that Lei Daming would actually do something like this. Pressuring the chairman of the restaurant to send someone to ask Peng Zhan to leave was a very humiliating action, but it was also very sinister. Even business competitors wouldn't do something like this. Not only would it make people think that Lei Daming was being sinister, but it also meant that there was no room for negotiation between Peng Zhan and Lei Daming. What kind of restaurant is this? What rule says that you can ask a guest to leave? Peng Zhan had a restaurant in Songsan as well, but he'd never done something like this before. Even if it was a competitor, he'd treat them well. "Our chairman's words are the rules," the manager said faintly. "If you guys don't leave, we'll have to ask the security department to step in." The chairman said that we'll use diplomacy before force. "We hope that you guys can make your choice quickly." Threat? This was a blatant threat. Peng Zhan felt that this Lei Daming was going overboard. This wasn't business at all. It was like a mafia boss. After the manager's words, there was an awkward silence. Peng Zhan felt like a scholar meeting a soldier. Lin Yi, on the other hand, frowned and was about to speak. However, before he could speak, someone else spoke. "Boss, I'm here." Han Xiaopa rushed into the room at that moment, but he didn't seem to notice the awkward atmosphere in the room. Instead, he chattered incessantly to Lin Yi. "I'm sorry. I've been rushing all the way here. It's just that this restaurant is a little far from my house. Hee. In order to express my apology, I'm sorry. My treat." "Treat? There's no need to invite me. You've come for nothing. All of you are not welcome by our chairman. You can leave now." The lobby manager was a little amused. This person didn't even know what was going on here and still wanted to treat them? Han Xiaopa was stunned. Only then did he realize that the person in front of him was not wearing a waiter's uniform. It was the uniform of the lobby manager, and the next moment, he also noticed that the atmosphere in the private room was not quite right, and Lin Yi was frowning. F***CKME. Who was the chairman of this restaurant? Han Xiaopa was truly shocked. Was there something wrong with this person's brain? He even dared to chase away Lin Yi? "What do you mean you're not welcome here?" Of course, the boss didn't need to do anything about this. As a follower, Han Xiaopa could take care of it. The hidden Han family had always kept a low profile. However, It didn't mean that Han Xiaopa would keep a low profile because of what happened to Lin Yi. How dare this person tell him that they were all unwelcome guests? Who do you think you are? Han Xiaopa said angrily. Huh. The lobby manager's eyes widened. He didn't expect this person to be more arrogant than he was. Tell your chairman that my name is Han Xiaopa, and I'm from the hidden Han family of East Ocean. If he doesn't welcome me, I don't welcome him either. Get the hell out of East Ocean City tomorrow. My family will take over his hotel and properties. Han Xiaopa's voice wasn't loud, but it was intimidating. The hidden Han family of East Ocean had this confidence. Although they had been keeping a low profile all these years, they weren't afraid of trouble. They could tolerate other things, but they couldn't allow insulting their boss. Hidden Han family? The lobby manager was stunned. Although he didn't have the ability to reach that level, as the lobby manager of the most luxurious restaurant in East Ocean City, he had heard of the two big families in East Ocean City, the hidden Zhao family and the hidden Han family. These two giants were not to be messed with. Therefore, the lobby manager's face changed. The hidden Han family. He couldn't stay calm when he heard this. He didn't immediately show the arrogance he had when he entered the private room. He directly said, "Sorry, I went to the wrong room." Then, he ran away with his tail between his legs and went to call the chairman with a long face. Although the lobby manager vaguely knew that the chairman had some power and background, it seemed that he didn't have much power and background. Therefore, he wisely chose to swallow his anger. President Zhao. The lobby manager dialed the number of Guangxi Group's chairman, Zhao Guangxi, who was behind the Arctic Ocean seafood restaurant. "Oh, how is it? Did you finish what I asked you to do?" Zhao Guangxi asked. "President Zhao, it's bad. People from the hidden Han family are here. They say their name is Han Xiaopa. He's with the person in the private room that you wanted to kick out," the lobby manager said with a bitter face. As soon as he came, he shouted that you should get out of East Ocean City. He said that his family will take over your business. What? People from the hidden Han family? Why are they here? Zhao Guangxi was shocked when he heard the lobby manager's words. He didn't expect people from the hidden Han family to interfere. Didn't the hidden Han family not do business? How did he get involved in this matter this time? Zhao Guangxi suddenly had a headache. If it was before, he naturally wouldn't be afraid of this hidden Han family. On one hand, he and the young master of the hidden Zhao family, Zhao Guangyin, were relatives. He was considered a peripheral business member of the Zhao family. He gave a lot of money to the hidden Zhao family every year, so the hidden Zhao family would naturally support him. On the other hand, before the Hidden House Summit, the Hidden House Han was still a small and weak family. They were the target that all the big hidden houses wanted to divide. However, after the Hidden House Summit, the situation suddenly changed. The Hidden House Han miraculously gained a stable foothold, and the Hidden House Zhao seemed to be afraid of them and didn't suppress them as much as before. Although Zhao Guangxi, as a peripheral member, didn't know the inside story, he knew that the Hidden House Han wasn't someone to be messed with. Besides, he was now completely marginalized by the hidden Zhao family. Because of his son, Zhao Fafa, he was dragged into this mess. Chapter 2346 Elder Bai goes out because of Zhao Qibing's words. Zhao Guangxi was kicked out of Songshan and came to East Ocean City to do business. Of course, since he continued to give Zhao Guangyin a large sum of money every month to the hidden Zhao family, he quickly gained a foothold in East Ocean City. However, he was no longer able to go to a higher level. The hidden Zhao family chose a new business spokesperson. This person was the chairman of East Ocean Commerce, Lei Daming. Just now, it was Lei Daming's order to chase them away. Naturally, he couldn't go against Lei Daming's request. After all, he and Lei Daming were on the same side. It seemed like he had kicked an iron board. He had to make it clear to Lei Daming that the hidden House Han had to be suppressed by the hidden Zhao family. However, Zhao Guangxi didn't have the ability to ask the hidden Zhao family to come out, but Lei Daming could. "I understand. Don't do anything rash. Just serve them the food and don't show yourself. I'll arrange for someone else to go," Zhao Guangxi said. "Yes, Mr. Zhao," the manager quickly replied. After putting down the phone, Zhao Guangxi couldn't wait to call Lei Daming. "Mr. Zhao, is it done?" Lei Daming was eating at the Northern Ice seafood restaurant. He thought that it was done after receiving Zhao Guangxi's call. As far as he was concerned, this wasn't a big deal at all. Zhao Guangxi was the boss of this place. If he didn't serve a table of customers, then so be it. What could Chu Pengzhan do? Done what, Mr. Lei? You've screwed me over. They have a backer too. Since Zhao Guangxi was related to Zhao Guangyin, he wouldn't be too humble in front of Lei Daming. He cried and complained. They invited someone from the hidden Han family. His name is Han Xiaopa, and I couldn't hold him back anymore. Not only did Han Xiaopa threaten me to get out of East Ocean City, but he also wanted me to take away all my businesses. Mr. Lei, you can't just ignore this. Hidden House Han? How are they related to Chu Pengzhan? Lei Daming frowned, confused. All right, don't worry about it. I'll report it to the boss. The boss Lei Daming was talking about was naturally Zhao Guangyin of the Hidden House Zhao. Lei Daming was his spokesperson, and the main reason why Lei Daming didn't want Pengzhan to enter the East Ocean market was because Pengzhan's business overlapped too much with Lei Daming's. Pengzhan's business overlapped too much with Lei Daming's. Hotels, shopping malls, real estate, all of them were profitable projects. If Pengzhan were to come, he'd have to take responsibility for Guangyin's actions. Lei Daming's business would be affected, and if Guangyin were to blame him, he'd have to take responsibility. So, Lei Daming didn't feel like he was in the wrong. He called Guangyin, "Boss, there's trouble." What trouble? Guangyin's attitude towards Lei Daming wasn't bad. This Lei Daming had been doing very well in East Ocean City ever since he was supported. He brought House Zhao a lot of profits every month, and there was a lot of sustainable profits as well. Guangyin had high hopes for him. I told you before, I've teamed up with the local merchants in East Ocean City to force an outsider out of business, not letting him do business in East Ocean City. After all, his business overlaps with ours. Lei Daming explained the situation clearly, proving that he wasn't doing this for personal grudges against the Hidden House Han. Yes, I know. Does this outsider have a background? Guangyin quickly connected the dots. That's right. Someone from the Hidden House Han came to support them. Lei Daming nodded. The person is called Han Xiaopa. What? The Hidden House Han's Han Xiaopa is the outsider's backer? Guangyin froze. Didn't the Hidden House Han not do business? Could it be that after the Hidden House Summit, the Hidden House Han had bared their fangs and were preparing to do business for money? That's right. Today's incident was like this. Lei Daming didn't hide anything. He told Guangxi about how he met the outsider at the Arctic Ocean seafood restaurant and how he made Guangxi embarrass him. You did the right thing. Guangyin nodded. Lei Daming was arrogant, but he was doing this for the sake of the Hidden House Zhao's business. Therefore, Guangyin had to stand up for him. Moreover, even if this didn't happen, the Hidden Zhao family couldn't take it lying down. After the Hidden Family Summit, the Hidden Han family was no longer as cautious and low-key as before. Instead, they began to move around in the East Ocean City and made their voices heard. It seemed like they wanted to compete with the Hidden Zhao family. At the Hidden House Summit, the Hidden House Han used their relationship with Lin Yi to make the Hidden House Zhao feel bad. After Lin Yi left, the Hidden House Han was still jumping around and even supporting an outsider. Zhao Guangyin couldn't tolerate this. If he gave in this time, he believed that the Hidden House Han would take advantage of him and make it worse. Therefore, he had to kill their ambition as soon as they showed their fangs. Boss, what should we do now? Lei Daming asked carefully. Isn't it just Han Xiaopa? Guangyin smiled coldly. He really thinks he's someone important. Don't worry, I'll let Qibing and Elder Bai come and teach this arrogant bastard a lesson. Does he really think that the Hidden House Han can compete with the Hidden House Zhao? He's overestimating his own strength. That's great. Lei Daming was overjoyed. He didn't think that Guangyin would send Zhao Qibing, the heir of the Hidden House Zhao, and Elder Bai, the core member of the Hidden House Zhao. Just you wait, they'll be here soon. Guangyin couldn't control Elder Bai, but he could control Qibing. If Qibing went, Elder Bai, as his master, had to go as well. After all, Han Xiaopa was an Earth-class early phase. If Han Xiaopa made a move, then Qibing would be at a disadvantage. But if Elder Bai went, the situation would be different. Elder Bai wouldn't just sit and watch, and Han Xiaopa wouldn't dare make a move. Yes, thank you, boss. Lei Daming said quickly. In Lin Yi's room, Han Xiaopa closed the door unhappily and walked to Lin Yi with a smile. Boss, what's going on? Chapter 2340. Did that Lei Daming talk to the owner of this restaurant? Han Xiaopa didn't know who Lei Daming was. The hidden Han family didn't do business, so he naturally didn't care who the chairman of the Chamber of Commerce was. However, that didn't mean he could tolerate this chairman bullying Lin Yi's elder. East Ocean was considered the territory of the hidden Han family. If Lin Yi's elder was bullied here, how could Han Xiaopa, as Lin Yi's little brother, endure it? Thinking of this, Han Xiaopa patted his chest and said, Boss, leave this to me. I promise I'll take care of it. Isn't it just Lei Daming? I'll talk to Grandpa and tell this person to behave. Okay, do as you see fit. Lin Yi nodded. Uncle Chu, don't worry. Boss doesn't need to do anything about these small fries. I'll take care of them. Han Xiaopa said, let me find out who this Lei Daming is and then come up with a countermeasure. No need to find out. He's here again. Lin Yi suddenly interrupted Han Xiaopa and said lightly, Again? Han Xiaopa was a little anxious. This was East Ocean City, and the hidden Han family was considered half the owner. How dare this Lei Daming come again? Han Xiaopa was about to explode. He suddenly stood up and said to Lin Yi, Boss, leave it to me. I'll go deal with him. Okay. Lin Yi nodded and said, Be careful. Han Xiaopa walked out of the private room and saw the lobby manager, a balding man, and an old man and a young man rushing toward him. The lobby manager, who was a little weak before, was now like a big rooster, with his head held high and his chest out. Han Xiaopa didn't know the balding man, so he was probably Lei Daming. However, Han Xiaopa couldn't be more familiar with the old man and the young man behind him. Seeing them appear, Han Xiaopa couldn't help but frown. It was really a small world for enemies. As both hidden families of East Ocean, the hidden Han family and the hidden Zhao family naturally didn't see eye to eye with each other, especially after the previous hidden family summit. The two families were like fire and water. Han Xiaopa, why don't you just stay at home? Have you learned to stand up for others? Qibing didn't like Han Zaya. He broke his leg in the first match and never had the chance to scold him. Now that he had the chance, and with Elder by beside him, he wasn't afraid of Han Xiaopa anymore. Zhao Qibing, is your leg better? Han Xiaopa, on the other hand, looked at Qibing's sprinting legs mockingly. Looks like you're in a rush to get here because you're looking for a break. Han Xiaopa, I've given you a bit of sunshine, and you think you're beaming? Previously, with Lin Yi by your side, I didn't dare to touch you. But now, who do you think you are? You're just a dog of Lin Yi's. You don't even know what's wrong with you. You don't even have any skills, and yet you're trying to act cool. Han Xiaopa had hit Zhao Qibing's soft spot. Let me tell you, if you know what's good for you, bring your men with you. Go back and tell your men not to get involved in Donghai's business. Otherwise, don't blame me for being rude. I'm really curious. You're just a mystic, right? What right do you have to talk to me like that? Han Xiaopa looked at Qibing with interest and said mockingly, Do you think you can fight someone stronger than you, boss? Level up by eating elixirs. Stop pretending. Qibing said in disdain. I'm not afraid to tell you that Master has already promised me and gave me the elixir. It'll only be a matter of time before I catch up to you. It wasn't that House Zhao didn't have elixirs like spirit-gathering elixirs and small qi-gathering elixirs. It was just that they didn't have much in stock. If a house wanted to develop in the long run, they couldn't just give everything to their children, right? Even if Qibing's generation all became Earth-class early phase, what would happen to the 4th and 5th generation? What if they didn't get the elixirs and there was a gap in strength? Wouldn't House Zhao be kicked out of the ranks of the hidden houses? So, in the past few years, all the hidden houses had one principle, and that was to let their children level up by themselves. If they didn't have to use elixirs, then they would use them. Plus, not leveling up to Earth class had an advantage, and that was that they could enter and exit the common world as they pleased. But now, the Hidden House Association only existed in name, and there was no one to watch over the Earth class. After the rise of House Han, the children of the hidden houses were all greedy and prepared to train their children. So, All the elixirs that had been sealed away for a long time were taken out. In fact, other than House U, the other hidden houses didn't have many elixirs. They got them through all sorts of bets, exchanges, trials, and etiquettes. How could they just use them like that? But now, they were forced by the situation. If you didn't use it for others, you'd fall behind. So, House Xiao prepared to give elixirs to their children after the Hidden House Summit. Han Xiaopa looked at Elder Bai behind Qibing, and he was a little wary. Elder Bai was an Earth-class late-phase peak, and he wasn't someone Han Xiaopa could fight against. Elder Bai had been famous for a long time, and was one of the core members of House Xiao. He had the highest chance of stepping into Sky Class. Zhao Qibing, don't you think your hidden House Xiao is controlling us too much? You're interfering with everything? Han Xiaopa raged. Heh, I'm interfering with everything. What? Bite me. Qibing knew that Han Xiaopa wouldn't dare do anything in front of Elder Bai, and so, in order to get back at him for breaking his leg, Qibing naturally kept on humiliating him. I'm telling you, without Lin Yi by your side, you're worse than a dog. Go back to House Han and hide. Which eye of yours saw that I'm not by his side? A cold voice sounded beside Qibing's ear. It wasn't loud, but it was like thunder, almost making him piss his pants. He shivered and raised his head in disbelief, looking at Lin Yi walking out of the room. His legs started cramping. Lin Yi boss, you're here too? Qibing's voice was shaking. He regretted it, cursing Lei Daming's 18 generations of ancestors in his heart. Couldn't he at least say his name? Would it kill him to say his name? If they'd known that this outsider was Lin Yi, Qibing and Guangyin would have told Lei Daming to give him a portion of the market. How could they mess with someone like that? Chapter 2341. In Lin Yi's eyes, these masters from the hidden houses were nothing but a joke after Lin Yi created the fiery Baguazhang. They were much weaker than Taganlaw. This made Lin Yi realize that strength level didn't mean everything. In other words, strength level only represented the strength of a practitioner when they were on the same level. But if they were on a different level, then it was a completely different thing. The Common House U's Boss U and the Hidden House U's Earth Class were on the same level, yes, but was it the same strength? Obviously not. And the Hidden House's Sky Class Early Phase was the same as the Ice Palace's Sky Class Early Phase? Obviously not. The Ice Palace's Sky Class Early Phase was the same as the Guards? Of course not. Using strength to judge a practitioner's strength became a joke when they were on a different level. The third head of the house was an Earth Class Late Phase Peak, obviously much stronger than Elder Bai. But Taganlong, an Earth Class Early Phase, was even stronger than the third head of the house. And so, after studying Elder Bai's aura, Lin Yi shook his head. He didn't make a move, but Elder Bai's strength couldn't be that high. Qibing looked at Lin Yi awkwardly, speechless. Aura, you're right about one thing, you're worse than a dog. I have a dog called General Weiwu in my house, and even that's stronger than you, Lin Yi said. Break your own legs and get the hell out, I'll let this go. Qibing froze. He didn't think that Lin Yi would make a request like this. It wouldn't matter if it were any other time. But in front of Elder Bai, his Shifu, wasn't this a slap to Elder Bai's face? Would Elder Bai agree? The answer was obvious. Elder Bai opened his mouth and looked at Lin Yi coldly. Lin Yi, don't go too far. Could it be that you don't put me in your eyes? Although the Hidden Yu family didn't get a clear answer from the Heavenly Elixir sect, they knew something from the questioning tone of the Sky Silkworm transformation. Lin Yi's strength shouldn't be that strong. When the news reached the Hidden Zhao family, Old Master Zhao regretted not keeping Lin Yi. So Elder Bai thought that without the Purple Lightning Beast's help, Lin Yi wasn't his opponent. Even if they fought, Lin Yi would at most be on par with him. And recently, Elder Bai had already touched the barrier of Sky Class. He was only half a step away from Sky Class. You're right. I really don't care about you, Lin Yi said faintly, as if he knew Elder Bai was going to help. Do you think I'm scared of you? Elder Bai humphed. One move, Lin Yi said lightly. What? Elder Bai paused, but then he thought of Zhao Guanger, and his face changed. At that time, Lin Yi, Zhao Guanger, and the others said the same thing. I said, I only need one move to beat you. Lin Yi said, break Zhao Qibing's legs and take him away. I'll give you 10 seconds to think about it. After that, you don't have to leave. Linny kiddo, do you really think I'm scared of you? Elder Bai was infuriated. He'd never been threatened like this before. As far as he was concerned, Lin Yi was strong on the stage of the Hidden House Summit, but he wasn't unbelievably strong. It was just that Lin Yi said that he could beat a sky class. Fiery 8 trigram palm, 5th form. 10 seconds passed, and Lin Yi made his move. He didn't hold back at all. He wanted to scare the small fry in Donghai, as well as the hidden houses that wanted to make a move. Back then, when he left the Hidden House Summit, Lin Yi was terrified, afraid that he'd be stopped if he wasn't careful. Lin Yi didn't say anything despite the doubts and suspicions of some people. But at this moment, Lin Yi used his self-created technique and fired the first shot of his counterattack. Since House Zhao was so arrogant, he could only step on their corpses. This trip to Wulong Haut Mountains, Lin Yi felt more and more how weak he was. He didn't have time to fight with these hidden houses, so he had to start with the Hidden House Zhao, integrating the Hidden House's strength into his own practitioners' association. At this moment, Lin Yi didn't have the ability to shake a giant like House Yu, but he could still make a move on House Zhao. All of this was because of this, and Lin Yi had wanted to take revenge for a long time. Back then, Zhao Guang Yu Lu, and Yu San teamed up to cause trouble, and they almost destroyed Lin Yi and Mrs. Family. Lin Yi had been holding back this anger. It wasn't that he didn't want to take revenge, but it wasn't time yet. Lin Yi was a very rational person, and he would only fight with his life on the line when he was in danger. Under normal circumstances, Lin Yi wouldn't do something stupid like hitting a rock with an egg. Right now, Lin Yi didn't want to be enemies with the Hidden House Yu just yet. It was because of two people, Yu Bing and Yu Ning. It was hard for Lin Yi to kill them all. They were different from the common House Yu. House Yu. Lin Yi didn't have the strength to fight them at the moment. Not only did they have a lot of masters, but they also had a complicated relationship with the Sky Elixir sect. Most importantly, Lin Yi wanted to get more treasures from House Yu with Han Jingjing. Since they weren't enemies yet, he'd keep them for now. House Zhao was different, however. This Zhao Qibing had been going against him many times. From the start in Songshan, this little bastard had been jumping up and down. Not only did he order Sihua to attack Chu Pengzhan's company, but he also burned Yu Shaoka's orphanage. Lin Yi wanted to kill him for a long time. Elder Bai didn't think that Lin Yi would suddenly make a move, but he wasn't panicking. He was an Earth-class late-phase peak, so why would he be afraid of Lin Yi? Plus, he had studied Lin Yi's fiery technique before. It wasn't very strong, and he had a high chance of winning in a head-on clash. And so, Elder Bai channeled his practitioner's arts without hesitation. He didn't dodge, but punched out, activating his technique, Majestic Fist, 10th form. Lin Yi laughed. He didn't think that Elder Bai's technique was called Majestic Fist. Was it a joke? Evidently not. Looking at Elder Bai's serious face, Lin Yi knew that this was the Tyrant King's fist. Just from the name alone, it didn't sound like anything powerful. The 10th form, the 5th form of Fiery 8 trigram palm, was equivalent to the 11th form of a normal technique. Pack! Chapter 2342. Elder Bai's body shot out like an arrow, crashing into the wall at the end of the hallway with another loud crash. He fell to the ground like a dead dog, unmoving. Lin Yi's organs were shaken quite a bit, and his meridians were damaged as well. But Lin Yi could take it, while Elder Bai obviously couldn't. The 10th low-tier martial skill against the 11th high-tier martial skill. The result was obvious, so Elder Bai's loss wasn't unfair at all. But Lin Yi knew that Elder Bai wasn't dead. It wasn't realistic to kill him in one move, but at least he'd lost the ability to fight. With House Zhao's current strength, it was impossible for Elder Bai to recover. His injuries were too heavy, and most of his meridians were broken. His organs were displaced, too. Even if he recovered, he'd be a cripple, unable to have Earth-class late-phase peak strength. It wasn't easy for him to maintain his Mystic class, or even Golden class. Ga. Qibing was dumbfounded. He looked at the unreachable person in his heart, the person he could only look up to, but he couldn't even take one move from Lin Yi. He'd been sent flying just like that, not knowing if he was dead or alive. It was only at this moment that Zhao Qibing understood that he couldn't go against Lin Yi. He couldn't rely on luck anymore. In front of Lin Yi, Qibing didn't seem to have any advantages at all. It was like this before, and it was like this now. Master Bing, next time you want to cause trouble, it's best if your grandpa comes. But even he won't be able to do it. 2 moves at most. Lin Yi said faintly. He was injured, but Lin Yi didn't show it. This injury was nothing to Lin Yi, who was often injured. Lin Yi, on the other hand, was an expert at disguising himself after being injured, and it was because of this that his enemies couldn't figure him out. Lin Yi, boss, you must be joking. I wouldn't dare cause trouble. I was just joking. Haha, joking, Qibing said with a sad face. Didn't you hear what I said? Lin Yi asked. What? Qibing paused. Break your own legs and leave with your people. Give this restaurant to me, and this Lei Daming guy, I don't want to see him anymore. Lin Yi said faintly. As for the chairman of Donghai Chamber of Commerce, I recommend someone, Peng Zhan, Meng Yao's father. What do you think? I agree, Qibing said. Then my legs. Does that mean I don't have to break them? If that's the case, then leave. Lin Yi nodded. He didn't break Qibing's leg again. It's almost the end of the year. Whether or not you can live past the end of the year depends on your performance. What do you mean? Qibing paused, his heart skipping a beat. Do you remember when I told you that you wouldn't be able to live past this year? Lin Yi's face paled as soon as he said that, because he remembered the conflict he had with Zhao Qibing, but he couldn't remember why he had to fight with Zhao Qibing. It seemed like it was because of someone important to him, but who was it? Lin Yi couldn't remember. Who was it? The Miss? Shu? Or was it Xiao Xiao? But it didn't seem like it. Kang? Kang's girlfriend? Fawn? Yes. It seemed to be related to Fawn, but it definitely wasn't her. Who was it? Lin Yi's mind was in a mess, as if he had lost some important memory. This wasn't the first time he felt this way, and it made Lin Yi feel strange. Qibing, naturally, remembered Lin Yi's words. That setback was still fresh in his memory, and he would never forget it for the rest of his life. He came to Songshan with great ambition and built Qibing's skyscraper, but it was destroyed by Lin Yi. Fu. Lin Yi took a deep breath, and his memory was in a mess. He looked at Qibing and asked, Qibing, let me ask you something. The first time I broke your leg and destroyed your skyscraper, what was the reason? Boss Lin Yi. I didn't do it on purpose. Qibing, naturally, didn't know what Lin Yi was talking about. Qibing, why are you still here? Get out of here. Yushu suddenly opened the door and pointed at Qibing with her hands on her waist. Shu 007 had been acting as a spy at the door the whole time, and when she heard Lin Yi asking about this, she couldn't help but walk out and stop Qibing from continuing before he could say anything else. Get out, I'll get out now. How could Qibing not leave? He was afraid of breaking his leg again. Wait, the thing I asked you before. Lin Yi didn't want Qibing to leave just like that. Oh, shield bro, don't bullshit with this trash. If you talk too much, you're going to be trashed. Ask Shu if you have anything. Yushu said. All right, get out. Lin Yi waved his hand, indicating that Qibing could leave. Lei Daming's face paled. He didn't think that the girl with the big boobs would be so strong. The high and mighty Master Bing was as careful as a mouse in front of her. Why are you still here? Are you waiting for death? Qibing kicked Lei Daming, who was standing there in a daze. Daming snapped out of his daze and staggered behind Qibing, not even daring to look back. The two picked up Elder Bai at the end of the hallway and took the elevator downstairs. Elder Bai kneeled, Qibing left, Lei Daming was scared, and Guangxi was in trouble. When the lobby manager told Zhao Guangxi what happened here, Zhao Guangxi was so scared that he almost vomited. Lin Yi? He almost fainted. Why was it him again? Last time, it was because Zhao Fafa didn't know his place and messed with Lin Yi's woman. Not only did he bring Zhao Fafa out of Songshan, but he was also alienated by the hidden house Zhao. But today, he was wronged. He was only following Lei Daming's orders. He didn't even think about messing with Lin Yi. He was being shot even though he was lying down. With that thought, Guangxi hurriedly called Zhao Qibing. Hello? Qibing didn't want to answer at first, but he remembered that Lin Yi was still eating at Guangxi's restaurant. What if something happened to Lin Yi? He quickly picked up, "What's up? Master Bing, you can't just ignore me. I'm just following Lei Daming's orders. I didn't want to mess with Lin Yi," Guangxi said with a sad face. "He wants my restaurant and property. Why am I so unlucky?" Chapter 23:43. Then, as if remembering something, Qibing continued, "How much is that hotel and company worth? Give it all to him, and I'll arrange something for you later. If you can make Linny happy, it'll be a great achievement. Don't let him hate us, the hidden house Zhao. I'll think of a way to make you the vice chairman of the business association. Other than managing the business, you can spend the rest of your time kissing Pengzhan's ass." Qibing really pissed his pants today. Elder Bai was such a powerful being, yet Lin Yi took him down with one move. He even said that even if Elder Zhao came, he wouldn't be able to take on Lin Yi in 2 moves. How could Qibing fight Lin Yi? Qibing didn't want to die. As the saying goes, a bad life is better than a good death. He was the heir of the hidden house Zhao. He couldn't die. Although he hated Lin Yi to the core, he knew that he couldn't take revenge. Absolutely not. Even if he couldn't show even the slightest bit of hatred. But deep in his heart, he had already listed Lin Yi as his #1 enemy. As long as he could make a comeback, it would be the day of Lin Yi's death. But before that, he would kiss Lin Yi's ass and lick his shoes. He had to live, and that was the only way he could take revenge. On this day, Pengzhan Industries had officially gained a foothold in Donghai City. What was supposed to be a complicated matter had been solved in the middle of a meal, and Pengzhan, an outsider, had somehow become the chairman of Donghai Chamber of Commerce. Pengzhan, on the other hand, had somehow accomplished his dream. What he'd thought would be a difficult task had been effortless. Lin Yi and Shu returned to the room, and Lin Yi looked at Shu, confused. "Shu, why did I cause trouble for Zhao Qibing the first time?" "Because he likes Yao Yao and wanted to XX Yao Yao. That's why you got mad," Shu said. Meng Yao heard Yushu's words and blushed. She glared at Yushu but didn't refute. She knew that Yushu was bullshitting, but if she refuted it now, Lin Yi would definitely get to the root of the problem. It might even lead to Tang Yun's matter. Meng Yao could only admit it. "Is that so?" Lin Yi paused. It seemed like Zhao Qibing and Meng Yao did have a grudge against each other. "Yeah." Yushu nodded with a straight face. "All right." Lin Yi nodded. "My mind's a little messed up after the deviation, and I keep feeling like something's missing from my memories, piece by piece. For example, when you guys went back to my old home with me, there were a lot of things I can't remember, including the night on the way back. I don't remember anything." "Yeah, Shield Bro, your memory is a bit messed up after you went crazy, but Shu remembers everything," Yushu nodded. "All right." Lin Yi thought that it was most likely the side effect of going crazy last time, causing his memory to be incomplete. What happened before didn't affect the mood of the dining, and Pengzhan was especially excited. He heard from the room that Lin Yi solved the problem easily. He was a senior, and it was a bit embarrassing to ask a junior like Lin Yi to help him, but Pengzhan didn't treat Lin Yi as a normal person the moment he came to the Chu Villa. It was all because of his father's recommendation, and what his father said after that. If Wan came back and House Chu rose again, it all depended on Lin Yi. Pengzhan didn't know what kind of background Lin Yi had, but he believed in his father, Chu Sanhua. Just like the benefactor his father found for him, he helped him take care of the Grand Elder of the Dark Palace, and the first person to cause trouble for him and Wan. He also forced the Grand Elder to make a promise, which was better than him and Meng Yao. If it wasn't for that person, he and Meng Yao would have died a long time ago. He hadn't heard from that person for a long time, but Pengzhan suddenly saw the shadow of that person in Lin Yi, except that Lin Yi's personality was colder and more arrogant. "Uncle Chu, congratulations on successfully moving the group to the capital." Han Xiaoper raised his glass and said with some shame, "Originally, as a local tyrant, I should have done my bit, but I didn't expect the hidden Zhao family to intervene. If boss didn't help, I wouldn't have been able to handle it." "Xiaopa, don't look down on yourself. If it wasn't for that old thing Elder Bai, Zhao Qibing wouldn't have dared to be so arrogant," Lin Yi said faintly. This time, The hidden house Zhao should be able to rest for a while. Yeah, boss, you're too strong. You can kill an Earth-class late-phase peak now? But I see that you're still an Earth-class mid-phase? Han Xiaopa looked at Lin Yi, a little confused. Yeah, I've created a technique, and it's just a little stronger, Lin Yi said. No way, boss. Boss, you actually created your own martial skill? What kind of concept is that? You're a master of martial arts. Han Xiaopa said, shocked. I'm not a grandmaster. Lin Yi smiled, suddenly thinking that if he combined Thousand Changes and Raging Fire Fist together, would he be able to create a new technique? But Lin Yi shook his head at the thought. The second form of Mu Linsun's Thousand Changes and Five Elements Bagwazang had the power of the second form of the Frenzy Fist. If he were to combine Mu Linsun's Thousand Changes with the Frenzy Fist, it'd only have this much power. It'd basically be a waste of effort, and there was no guarantee of success. When he was on the stage of the Hidden House Summit, Lin Yi had thought of combining them, but he didn't succeed. Maybe it was because the Five Elements Bagwazang had a special way of activating it that it could produce the effect of combining them. Of course, if he could combine Raging Fire Fist, Thousand Changes, and Five Elements Bagwazang into one, then the power would reach a terrifying level. But Lin Yi knew that it was impossible. Lin Yi couldn't use two techniques at the same time. He could only use one technique at the same time, and then use it according to the method of activating Five Elements Bagwazang. Lin Yi wasn't Zhou Badong. He couldn't use two different techniques at the same time. Lin Yi could control the switching time to the shortest possible, using both hands one after the other as if he was activating two skills at the same time. But that was only a matter of making the switching of skills as nimble as possible. It wasn't the same as using both skills at the same time. Chapter 2344. Zhao Qikuan? I heard that he was sent to the Sky Elixir test by the Hidden House, but I'm not sure. Xiaopa was from a Hidden House as well, and naturally, he had received the test from the Sky Elixir school, but he didn't know about the relationship between Zhao Qikuan and Lin Yi. Sky Elixir test? What's that? Lin Yi asked curiously. Boss, even if you didn't tell me, I wanted to discuss it with you in the next couple of days. Xiaopa said. I wanted to talk to you about it before when you asked me for the qi-gathering pill, but you were outside, and it wasn't something that could be explained in a few words. Oh, tell me about it. Xiaopa's words seemed to indicate that the Sky Elixir School's test was quite useful. Yes, boss, this Sky Elixir test is a test sent out by the ancient Sky Elixir School, and all the masters of the hidden houses and above can participate. Xiaopa said, completing the test will give you a great reward. And the reward can be a third-level pill from the Sky Elixir School, or some treasures of the same value. From what I know, the Sky Elixir School has a lot of colored steel, and that's a necessary material for cauldrons. So, if you can participate in the test and complete the mission, then you can get these rewards. Colored steel. Lin Yi raised an eyebrow. This was something he really needed, but was the Sky Elixir test really that easy to complete? Compared to the Ice Palace's trial, the rewards weren't just a little bit better. And so Lin Yi was very confused. This Sky Elixir test isn't simple, is it? It is. Xiaopa nodded. Go to a very dangerous place and gather some ingredients. As long as you gather enough, you can come back and exchange them for the reward. The Sky Elixir School does what they say, and there have been people who have gotten the third-level qi-gathering pill before. But most people never come back. Oh? Lin Yi frowned. If that's the case, why doesn't the Sky Elixir School send their own people? Isn't this reward a little too generous? Maybe because it's too dangerous and the death rate is too high, the Heavenly Elixir sect doesn't want to make unnecessary sacrifices. Han Xiaopa said, but we don't know much about the Hidden Han family. Although we've received the Heavenly Elixir sect's trial call before, we didn't even participate in the easier Ice Palace trial, let alone the dangerous Heavenly Elixir sect trial. Our Hidden Han family has been keeping a low profile. I see. Lin Yi began to plan in his heart. This was a good opportunity to get colored steel, but he didn't know if he should participate. From what Han Xiaopa had told him, the rewards for this test were great, but the danger was high as well. The Hidden House Zhao's goal for sending Qikuan there was self-explanatory. They wanted to use him as a pawn to gain some benefits for the family. But it wasn't a pity if he died. At least he couldn't cause trouble for Qibing. Of course, Lin Yi didn't know that the hidden house Zhao made this decision because of him. It was because of Qikuan's information that the hidden house Zhao made this decision. If you're going, boss, then I'll go with you. Han Xiaopa saw that Lin Yi was a little moved. He gritted his teeth and said boldly. He thought back to the time when he and Lin Yi were in the ring. With a boss like this, he had no regrets in his life. There's no rush to make a decision. Go ask around about this Sky Elixir sex test and ask Zhao Qikuan on the way. See if he's really going. Lin Yi said. Zhao Qikuan is my follower as well, so I don't need to worry about him. I can't just ignore him. Oh, all right. I'll keep an eye out. Han Xiaopa paused and nodded. Actually, the best way is to ask Zhao Qibing directly. I'm sure he'll tell me everything he knows. Lin Yi nodded. Xiaopa was stunned. All right, ask him out later and ask him about this. Lin Yi wasn't interested in asking Qibing personally. Just looking at him annoyed him. No problem, boss. Leave it to me. I'll investigate this thoroughly. Han Xiaopa replied. After they finished their meal, just as they were about to pay the bill and leave, the lobby manager followed a middle-aged man into the private room with a dark expression. What are you doing back here? Han Xiaopa yelled. The manager was pissed off. This guy was making him lose face again and again. He was here to give face to Lin Yi, but he was almost kicked out by the manager. After that, the manager found Qibing and Elder Bai to back him up and gave Han Xiaopa a hard time. Now that he was here for the third time, naturally, Han Xiaopa wasn't going to be nice to him. Everyone, I'm sorry. I'm the owner of Northern Ice Sea Seafood Restaurant, and also the chairman of Guangxi Restaurant Group. My name is Zhao Guangxi. Guangxi said carefully to Lin Yi and the others. Zhao Guangxi? Lin Yi frowned. What are you doing here? Do I know you? Waiter, pay the bill and leave. I'm Zhao Fafa's father, Lin Yi boss. Guangxi panicked. He was following Qibing's orders to give his business to Lin Yi. If he didn't, he'd face Qibing's wrath when he returned. Plus, there were only benefits to giving away his assets. Zhao Qibing promised to help him become the vice chairman of Donghai Chamber of Commerce, and he also promised to help him manage some other businesses. So, the food and beverage businesses in his hands weren't essential anymore. Hidden House Zhao? Lin Yi stopped and asked. Actually, when Lin Yi heard Guangxi's name, he thought of Zhao Guanger and Zhao Guangyi. The second generation of the Hidden House Zhao all had similar names. But Lin Yi was confused. Why wasn't Guangxi a practitioner? But when he heard that he was Zhao Fafa's father, Lin Yi understood. He was Zhao Guangyi's distant relative. Although he was also called Zhao Guangmo, this four had nothing to do with the second generation of House Yao. It was just a coincidence. As for Zhao Fafa, Lin Yi had some impression of him, but not much. He didn't think too much about it. Chapter 23:45. Oh. Lin Yi didn't expect Qibing to react this quickly. He smiled. Uncle Chu, just accept it. Since it's a gift from Zhao Qibing, there's no reason for us not to accept it. Peng Zhan's heart skipped a beat. He didn't think that Lin Yi and Han Xiaopa's joke would be taken seriously by Qibing, and he'd done it this quickly. Peng Zhan didn't know how big the Guangxi group was, since he wasn't a local businessman. He hadn't investigated Guangxi before, but the value of this Northern Ice Ocean seafood restaurant was not to be underestimated. If he could take over this business, Peng Zhan Industries' entry into Donghai would be even smoother. Peng Zhan took in a deep breath and walked over excitedly. He looked at the documents Guangxi handed him, discovering that the land of the Northern Ice Ocean seafood restaurant was Guangxi's as well. The value of this place was even more immeasurable. What a huge investment. Peng Zhan sighed to himself as he looked at Lin Yi's nonchalant face, as well as Han Xiaopa's nonchalant face. He'd underestimated Peng Zhan's worldview, and Lin Yi probably wouldn't even be interested in this amount of money. And he'd even thought of using Peng Zhan Industries as Meng Yao's dowry. But it seemed like Lin Yi didn't care about it at all. Peng Zhan sighed at the thought. He took over Guangxi's restaurant group under Guangxi's fearful expression. Pho. Guangxi let out a sigh of relief when he saw Peng Zhan accepting his gift. It was hard to give gifts these days, let alone something as expensive as this. But he had no choice. Even Master Bing was afraid of him, someone who could cripple Elder Bai with one move. Who was Guangxi? What virtue or ability did he have to contend against him? Chairman Chu, there's a meeting at Donghai Chamber of Commerce this afternoon. Should we go together? Guangxi asked carefully. Master Bing asked me to be the vice chairman, and I'll do my best to support you. Chairman? Me? Peng Zhan paused, not sure if he should laugh or cry. A few hours ago, Donghai Chamber of Commerce was attacking him with everything they had, and a few hours later, he'd become the chairman of Donghai Chamber of Commerce. Sometimes, the matter of time was incomparably magical. The young miss was also a little surprised, but she was more happy and proud. Lin Yi was different. It was as if Lin Yi was one of her people. But, was he? Meng Yao was confused. If it was in the past, she could say without hesitation that Lin Yi was her man and he was her follower. So what? But now, she couldn't say it. She was too embarrassed to say it. Lin Yi was no longer her follower. He said that they were good friends. How good is a good friend? Lifelong friends? Never leave the villa? The eldest miss was a little worried and regretful. Peng Zhan was, after all, an influential figure in Songshan's business world. It didn't take long for him to get used to the situation. All right, I'll have to trouble you to introduce me to Mr. Zhao. Well said. Well said. Zhao Guangxi's face bloomed like a flower, like an old chrysanthemum. Right, it's time for you to change the manager. Han Xiaopa was a vengeful person. He felt wronged when he saw the manager's pale face. He was the young master of the hidden house Han, and he didn't even know him. What's more, he caused so much trouble. It wasn't the first time Han Xiaopa came to the Northern Ice Seafood restaurant. Wasn't he treated like a VIP every time he came? Why did he have to meet someone like this today? Ugh. The lobby manager really wanted to cry but had no tears. He was a distant relative of Zhao Guangxi. It wasn't easy for him to become the lobby manager. In the end, he was fired after only a few days of being in office. Ugh, what ugh? Master Han told you to scram. Why aren't you scramming? Zhao Guangxi said angrily. The lobby manager pulled a long face and left the room. He thought to himself, what does this have to do with me? I'm just following your instructions. In the afternoon, Peng Zhan, Faubert, and Zhao Guangxi went to deal with the business in Donghai. Lin Yi, on the other hand, drove the Miss, Shu, and Grandma Sun home. Han Xiaopa, on the other hand, returned to the hidden house alone, preparing to help Lin Yi find out about the Sky Elixir School's test. Hidden House Zhao, Zhao Qibing, Zhao Guangyin, and Lei Daming stood in front of a yard with pale faces, anxiously waiting for the results. Elder Bai was usually in charge of this yard, but today, he was lying on a bed in one of the rooms, being treated by Elder Zhao and Yao Wang. How is it? Elder Zhao asked with a sad face. Basically, he's crippled. Yao Wang sighed helplessly. His life can be saved, but his strength can't be recovered. Even with the circulation pill and meridian opening elixir, his strength can only stay at golden class, mystic class at most. Sigh. Elder Zhao sighed. At the same time, he was puzzled. Just who was strong enough to injure Elder Bai? Because he was worried about Elder Bai's injuries, he didn't have time to ask what had happened. Qibing and Lei Daming didn't have time to ask, is there no other way? Unless he uses the third-level pill, the Great Recovery Pill, Yao Wang said. But that's not really a solution, because the third-level pill, the Great Recovery Pill, isn't something we can think of. It's as precious as the Qi-gathering pill, Qitan. Old Zhao suddenly thought of the Sky Elixir test that Qikuan was about to partake in, and his eyes lit up. If Qikuan can pass the test, then a third-level pill wouldn't be a problem. That's true, but passing the Heavenly Elixir Gates trial is basically harder than reaching the heavens. Zhao Yaowang also knew some inside information, so he smiled bitterly and said, many people want to pass the trial, but they basically never return. Sending Qitan to the test was actually to get rid of him, wasn't it? Old Master Zhao nodded silently. Yes, how could the trial of the Heavenly Elixir sect be so easy to pass? If it were that easy, then the third-level pill wouldn't be worth much. No matter what, this is our last hope. Elder Zhao sighed. Let's stabilize Elder Bai's condition first. I'll go ask. Just who was strong enough to injure Elder Bai? Yes. Yao Wang nodded. Elder Zhao, on the other hand, walked out of the yard with a dark face. He looked at Guangyin, Qibing, and Lei Daming, and asked in a low voice, "What happened?" Chapter 2346. Although he didn't think that it was his fault, Elder Bai's injuries were very serious, so he was still very worried. Haze. Old Zhao sighed, shock flashing in his eyes. Lin Yi, is he really that strong? Just how strong is he? Did he level up again? No, he's still in Earth class mid-phase. Zhao Qibing shook his head and said with certainty. He was a practitioner as well, and when Lin Yi attacked, he saw Lin Yi's strength clearly. He was indeed an Earth class mid-phase. Earth class mid-phase. No wonder he said that he had the strength to fight a Sky class. He wasn't bragging. Old Zhao's body was covered in a cold sweat. If it weren't for Elder Yu, he would have gone after Lin Yi after the meeting ended. From the looks of it, it was fine for them to work together, but they all had their own agendas and wouldn't use their full strength. If that happened, they'd be the unlucky ones. Yeah, Grandpa, I didn't know it was Lin Yi. Zhao Qibing said bitterly. This isn't your fault, Old Zhao sighed. Old Master Zhao sighed. He wasn't an unreasonable person. When Lei Daming helped the Zhao family make money in East Ocean City and got into trouble, the Zhao family naturally had to support him. However, he didn't expect that Han Xiaopo would become a follower of the Zhao family instead of helping the outsiders. Lin Yi was in the room, so Han Xiaopo's appearance wasn't anything strange. They just placed Han Xiaopo in the wrong place, which led to the current situation. Master, I was wrong. Lei Daming knew that he was the cause of this, and if old Zhao didn't blame Zhao Qibing, would it mean that he was the one to blame? And so, Lei Daming knelt on the ground with a thud. Lei Daming, you get up. This isn't your fault, but you have offended Lin Yi. It's not suitable for you to mingle in Donghai City anymore. Old Master Zhao waved his hand and said, I will arrange for you to go to the nearby Jiduan City. It is a small city without many family forces. After you go there, use the name of our Zhao family to develop well. Thank you, Elder Zhao. Lei Daming was both surprised and happy. Although going to a remote small city was tantamount to being banished by the Zhao clan, he was not held accountable. This was already a great blessing. This made Lei Daming immediately heave a sigh of relief. Qibing, Guangyin, you guys stop for a while. As for that seafood restaurant, if Lin Yi wants it, just give it to him. Old Man Zhao said lightly, if Lin Yi continues to cause trouble like this, sooner or later, someone will find him an eyesore and come to deal with him. In our hidden Zhao family, I am the only heaven-ranked expert. My realm is not stable yet. Try not to clash with him. I understand. Qibing and Guangyin replied quickly. Let's spread the news that Lin Yi injured Elder Bai in one move, and let the hidden houses feel a sense of danger. Once they realize that something's wrong, they'll attack him. Elder Zhao wanted to use someone else to do his dirty work. Yes. Guangyin nodded. Old Man Zhao didn't say anything else. He turned and walked to Qikuan's room. Whether or not Elder Bai could recover depended on Qikuan. Qikuan. Old Man Zhao pushed the door open and walked in. Qikuan's room was guarded, but Old Man Zhao was the head of the hidden house, so he could go in and out. Guangyin, on the other hand, didn't have that power. Grandpa. Qikuan stood up abruptly from his chair and turned around, looking at Old Man Zhao with excitement and reluctance in his eyes. Seeing his grandson's eyes, Old Man Zhao's heart ached. Qibing had done the most for the house, and he was Guangyin's son, but Qikuan was still his grandson. Qikuan's father had died young, and Qikuan's position in the house wasn't high. His strength had always been ahead, and he had participated in the Ice Palace's test. But because of that, he had become Qibing's obstacle. It would be a lie to say that Qikuan had no ambition. A soldier who didn't want to be a general wasn't a good soldier. He, Qikuan, dreamed of becoming the head of the hidden house. Before Qibing's appearance, he didn't have a high position in the house, but with his exceptional strength, he had entered the eyes of Elder Zhao. Most importantly, one of the core members of the house, Elder Bai, hadn't expressed his support for any of the third generation. Guangyin's son was very mischievous, and Old Man Zhao didn't like him. Elder Bai's disgust was written all over his face. If it weren't for the fact that he was Yu Xiaojin's son, Old Man Zhao would never have chosen him as the heir. So, Qikuan still had a chance. But Qibing's appearance had broken the balance. A bastard son who did all sorts of evil things had somehow gotten the support of Old Man Zhao and Elder Bai. How could Qikuan accept this? Why? Losing to Guangyin's son was something he could accept, but losing to Qibing? He couldn't accept it. Haze. Old Zhao sighed. In fact, he had a certain level of understanding of Qibing's capabilities after all this time. He was starting to feel disappointed, but Qibing was the hero of House Zhao. He had to keep his word. Qikuan, on the other hand, had no support in House Zhao. Old Man Zhao believed that unless Qikuan was as strong as him or Elder Bai, even if he became the heir, he wouldn't be able to control the situation. House Zhao would fall apart, and the consequences would be even worse. Grandpa, I know that me contacting Lin Yi is a big taboo for House Zhao. Lin Yi is House Zhao's enemy. I should be fighting against him. Qikuan smiled bitterly before continuing. But Grandpa, I can't accept this Qibing. What right does he have? Someone whose legs Lin Yi broke countless times. How can he be the heir of House Zhao? Qikuan, there are some things you don't know. Old Man Zhao sighed. The reason why I could break through to Sky Class was because of the Qi-gathering pill Qibing brought back. One could say that Qibing is a huge project for House Zhao. Breaking through to Sky Class means an unlimited extension of my lifespan, and this means a lot to House Zhao, so I have to support Qibing. Even if he's weak, I have to do this. I can't disappoint the disciples who work for House Zhao. What? Qikuan's eyes widened in disbelief. Zhao Qibing? He brought a Qi-gathering pill? Chapter 23:47. That's right. Old Zhao nodded. He knew that this was a little unfair to Qikuan, but that was just how things were. As the head of the house, he had to look out for the interests of the house, and he had to be fair. He couldn't let the members of the house think that it was unfair. So he didn't hide anything and told Qikuan about how Qibing got the Qi-gathering pill from the hidden house Yu. Qikuan heard the old man's words and went silent. The dissatisfaction and confusion in his heart vanished in an instant, and he could only sigh at Qibing's luck. Yes, with Qibing's achievements, how could he compete with him? Qikuan smiled bitterly. I understand now. So that's how it is. Huh. It seems like no matter how hard I work, I won't be able to become the head of the house. It's good that you understand. Old Zhao nodded. If you keep working with Lin Yi, you'll die. But that Lin Yi kid, he's been asking about you recently. It seems like he trusts you quite a bit. You'll let me go if I don't go to Lin Yi? When Qibing grows up, I'll be the first one he'll target, won't he? Qikuan shook his head, seeing everything clearly. Grandpa, I know you don't like me, because my mom was a village girl. My dad died young because of my mom, and now you're putting all that hate on me and my mom. My mom was kicked back to the village by you, and I, in House Zhao, if it weren't for my hard work, I'd have lost my position a long time ago, wouldn't I? Old Zhao's face changed. Qikuan's words hit him squarely. Qikuan was his grandson, but because of everything that had happened before, he didn't really like him. I was right, wasn't I? Qikuan smiled. At first, I thought that with my hard work, I could change your mind and accept me, but ever since Qibing appeared, I realized that it was impossible. I didn't want to accept Lin Yi as my boss, because he's really strong, and I wanted a backer to take back everything that belonged to me. Don't be stubborn. Old Master Zhao sighed and said, Stubborn? So what? Grandpa, tell me the truth. Are you here to kill me? Qikuan asked faintly, as if he had already expected this result. Your life and death are in your own hands. Old Master Zhao said, if you die in the trial of the Heavenly Elixir Sect, you will die. If you don't die and get the Heavenly Elixir Sect's reward, I can promise you that you'll become someone like Elder Bai or Elder Xia of the Zhao family. The trial of the Heavenly Elixir Sect? Do you think I can come back? Qikuan heard the words and was extremely disappointed. All these years, there have been people from hidden houses, sects, and even ancient sects and ancient houses, as well as foreign powers. But every time, how many come back alive? That's why I said, life and death are in your hands. Old man Zhao said, before, Guangyin's suggestion was to kill you. Huh. If I remember correctly, the winner of the Sky Elixir Schools test will be rewarded with a 3rd-level elixir, and the Qi Gathering Pill is a 3rd-level elixir. If I take it back, then why would I still be under Zhao Qibing and be an elder? Qikuan raised his head. It's the same level 3 pill, but he, a bastard, can become the heir, and I, a child born and raised in House Zhao, can only be an elder? Elder Bai's injured, and he needs a Dahuan pill. You go. Not for the Qi Gathering Pill. Old Zhao sighed. Huh? Is there a difference? Qikuan was very disappointed in old Zhao. It's the same level 3 pill. It's not that I don't want the Qi Gathering Pill. It's you who told me to get the Dahuan pill. The matter has been decided. You can make your own choice. Old man Zhao said. Huh? Qikuan's eyes flashed with viciousness. He was his own grandfather. He didn't even care about him as much as Lin Yi, a boss who wasn't related to him. He knew that Lin Yi wasn't looking for information on House Zhao, but to fulfill the benefits he gave him, or to realize that he couldn't contact him anymore. That was why Lin Yi was acting like this. With that thought, Qikuan accepted it and said faintly, all right, I'll participate. Old Zhao nodded and walked out of the room, but a strange light flashed in his eyes. Lin Yi had to die. With him here, Qikuan might be able to make a comeback. He could see the decision in Qikuan's eyes. And so, after leaving Qikuan's room, old Zhao called old Yu of the hidden house Yu. Kissing Chun. This was the first phone call old master Zhao made after the two families fell out. Humph, old Zhao, you still have the nerve to call? Old Yu humphed coldly, but it had been a while now, and his anger had mostly dissipated. He didn't hang up right away. Elder Yu, that's in the past. If we keep fighting, wouldn't we be a joke? Plus, we, the hidden house Zhao, didn't take it. Yu Huaxing was the one who gave it to us. If it were your hidden house Yu, wouldn't you take it? Old Zhao asked. Humph, Elder Yu humphed. But he understood that House Yu would have to do the same thing if it was their turn. Tell me, what's your purpose in calling me? Elder Yu asked. What's your purpose? Elder Bai was crippled. One move. Old Zhao said. Elder Bai? Was he crippled by someone? Old Yu paused. I say, Old Zhao, you're not saying this because you want us to avenge you, are you? What does this have to do with us? The one who injured Elder Bai was Lin Yi. Old Zhao continued. Lin Yi? Elder Yu frowned and went into deep thought. His heart was in turmoil. He had to admit that Lin Yi was strong, but he didn't expect him to be this strong, able to cripple Elder Bai with one move. Elder Bai was an Earth-class late-phase peak, only half a step away from Sky-class. How could someone like that be crippled by Lin Yi with one move? Thinking about how strong Lin Yi was, Old Yu felt conflicted. On one hand, he wanted to see if he could rope Lin Yi in and use Lin Yi to soar. On the other hand, he thought about the place behind him, keeping Yuning a virgin and accepting a very important position. He knew that this was a dead end. Chapter 23:48. Most importantly, Yuning couldn't be with Lin Yi anymore. By that time, Lin Yi would definitely become House Yu's enemy. Thinking of this, Elder Yu was a little depressed. Last time at the Hidden House Summit, it was a great opportunity to kill Lin Yi, but now that he lost it, it wouldn't be that easy to kill Lin Yi anymore. Elder Yu, I know a thing or two about Lin Yi and your House Yu. With Yuning here, your House Yu and Lin Yi will have to fight. Elder Zhao said. Some things can't be avoided. For his woman, Lin Yi destroyed Qibing's skyscraper, broke Qibing's legs, and for his woman, he went to the Ice Palace to ask for medicine. For his men, how many people did Lin Yi kill? Unless you give Yuning to him, otherwise, your House Yu will become Lin Yi's enemy. Elder Zhao and Elder Yu were in-laws, and he knew a lot of things about House Yu. For example, the relationship between Lin Yi and Yuning. Others didn't know, but Elder Zhao knew. What do you mean? You want to use our hidden house Yu to avenge your hidden house Zhao? As much as Elder Yu thought about it, he still felt that getting rid of Lin Yi was more important, but he still couldn't make up his mind. Especially after knowing that the Qi Gathering Pill was taken by House Zhao. Elder Yu didn't hate Lin Yi as much as before. To kill him or not to kill him, it's up to you, Elder Yu. I won't say anything else. Elder Zhao was a smart man, and he knew that some things should be stopped. All right, I won't disturb Elder Yu's rest anymore. One word, one should make a decision. Elder Yu put down the phone and fell into deep contemplation. It wasn't that he hadn't thought about killing Linny before. It wasn't that he hadn't tried it before, but it never worked. As he was thinking, the phone rang again, and Elder Yu thought that it was still Elder Zhao. But when he saw the number on the phone, his eyes narrowed and his pupils dilated. He picked up the phone quickly and said carefully, "Hello, I'm the head of House Yu, Yu Xing. All right, rainy day. Master asked me to inform you that the original plan is temporarily cancelled." The person on the other side of the phone didn't show any respect just because it was Elder Yu who answered the phone. Instead, he spoke in a commanding tone. "Cancel? Ah." Elder Yu paused, confused. What plan? It means that the matter of letting Yuning participate in the Heavenly Elixir sex trial has been cancelled. The other party saw that Elder Yu didn't react, so he said directly, "Cancelled? Didn't they say that he would pass this trial and receive the inheritance? Why is it cancelled again?" Elder Yu's heart skipped a beat. This was a big chance for House Yu to rise up. As long as Yuning accepted the water inheritance and became the inheritor, House Yu would become a family that could rise up to the heavens. Their status would definitely surpass the hidden houses, and it would only be a matter of time before they became an ancient house. But now, the person from that place called and said that the plan was cancelled. How could Elder Yu accept this? If it were any other time, Elder Yu wouldn't dare ask about it, and he would do whatever the person from that place told him to do. But this time was different. This was related to the rise of House Yu. This was a big plan that had been planned since Elder Yu's father's generation, when he failed to pass down the inheritance. How could it be cancelled just like that? Because of the sudden change in the plan. The trial this time is too dangerous, and Yuning has other arrangements. She can't take the risk to accept the inheritance, and the inheritor this time is someone else. The person on the other side of the phone hesitated and explained. After all, they had a relationship with House Sai for decades, ever since Elder Yu's father brought the young Elder Yu to travel around the world, and they had a relationship with each other. It could be said that the hidden House Yu was their representative in the hidden world. Ah, water inheritor as well? Elder Yu froze, and his heart was bleeding. No, the person said clearly, "Don't think too much. It's different from normal water inheritors. I can only tell you the general plan, and it's not good for you to know too much about it. Yuning's matter has other arrangements, and Master has already found a way to explore the endless West Sea, where the ancient water inheritance originated from. We are preparing to send Yuning there." Ah, since it's not a water inheritance, why would they give up on what's close at hand? There's no conflict. Elder Yu breathed a sigh of relief, but at the same time, he was confused. Because of some unexpected events, the rules of this trial have been changed. The person didn't hide anything. The other party didn't hide anything. This time, the trial conditions have been changed from mystic rank to earth rank. There's no upper limit. What? Mystic and above with no upper limit? If an earth class and above went there, wouldn't they? Elder Yu was startled, jumping up in fright. Yu is fine, but there are some things that you need to understand. Don't tell anyone else. The person said with a warning tone. You should understand now, we didn't let Yuning come for her safety. This trial is too dangerous, and if she comes here with her strength, she will die for sure. And this trial is for something else, and Yuning is very important, so it's better to go to the endless West Sea. I understand. Elder Yu was shocked, but he suppressed his doubts and nodded. I know what to do. And protect Yuning and Yu. Don't let anything happen to them. The person warned. Also, Master specifically told you to keep your virginity. You can't lose your virginity, or else you know the consequences. Yes. Please don't worry, Elder Xianchen. Tianqing will not let you down. Elder Yu said in fear. All right, that's all. The person hung up the phone. Elder Yu, on the other hand, was holding onto the phone, unable to calm down for a long time. House Yu almost missed the opportunity to rise, but now it seemed like the result was good. Since Elder Xianxian reminded him to keep Yuning a virgin, it meant that they still needed Yuning, and they needed to go to the even more powerful source of water, the endless West Sea, to receive the inheritance. Thinking of this, Elder Yu let out a sigh of relief. Chapter 23:49. This call made Old Yu experience the complicated feelings of losing and regaining, so he made up his mind to get rid of all unstable factors. He couldn't let Linny hinder the rise of House Yu. If Linny really took Yuning away, then it would be too late for regrets, that place. The Xianxian ancestor's face was a bit gloomy as he quietly looked at Taganlong, who was lying on the bed with his eyes closed. His emotions were very complicated and irritated. "Master!" A voice broke the silence. "Xiaoyi, you're back." The Xianxian ancestor raised his head and asked faintly, "How's it going?" "The backup plan is ready to be executed. The Sky Elixir sect has already talked to Tiandi and changed the rules of the test," Xiaoyi said calmly. Little E said calmly, "As for the hidden House Yu, I'll inform you of Master's intentions." "Okay." The Xianxian ancestor nodded. "Once the backup plan is activated, we'll have to waste a lot of energy and effort, and we might not be able to succeed. Is there any news on the culprit who injured Taganlong?" "We can confirm that it's not Zhang Naipeo," Xiaoyi said. "First, the everyday sect doesn't need to lie to us. We're in a cooperative relationship. Second, Zhang Naipeo's practitioner's arts aren't focused on hurting people, but on absorbing qi. Forget it. Let's put this aside for now." Patriarch Xianxian also knew that the possibility of finding the culprit wasn't high, especially since he didn't know which country the culprit was from. It was even more difficult. Therefore, Patriarch Xianxian continued, "Focus on the backup plan for now." "Then regarding Taganlong's recovery, Xiaoyi asked. "His injuries are too heavy and third-level pills are useless. He doesn't have any strength or skills for now. When your master comes out, I'll think of a way with him." The Xianxian ancestor said. "Yes, master." Xiaoyi nodded. Zhao Qibing didn't expect to receive a call from Han Xiaopa. However, he didn't dare to reject Han Xiaopa's call. He just offended Lin Yi today. Who knew if Han Xiaopa's call was on behalf of Lin Yi? So Zhao Qibing didn't dare to delay at all. He picked up the phone carefully. "Master Pur, why did you call your little brother?" "Master Bing, do you have time? Do you want to come out for a cup of coffee and chat?" Han Xiaopa asked directly. Young Master Pu, it's so late. What's the matter?" Zhao Qibing paused. He didn't know why Han Xiaopa was looking for him, but it wasn't to treat him to coffee. "You'll know when you get here. I just want to talk to you about the trial of the Heavenly Elixir sect," Han Xiaopa said. "Of course, this is what Boss Linny wants." "Oh, okay. Tell me the location. I'll go there right now." Qibing breathed out in relief after hearing Han Xiaopa's words. It was fine as long as he wasn't looking for trouble. As for understanding the Sky Elixir School's test, that wasn't a problem. Qibing knew that Linny had participated in the Ice Palace's test before and had passed it without a hitch, so it made sense that Lin Yi would be interested in it. But the Hidden House Han hadn't participated in the Sky Elixir Sex test before, so naturally, he had to find the Hidden House Zhao to understand the situation. In fact, Zhao Qibing hadn't participated in it before, but because he had to send Zhao Qiku in there, he had asked Elder Bai and Guangyin about the Sky Elixir Sex test a few days ago, so he was quite confident in answering Han Xiaopa and Lin Yi's questions. "All right, I'll see you in half an hour at Dazzling Coffee Shop," Han Xiaopa said. "No problem," Zhao Qibing replied. After hanging up, Zhao Qibing told his grandpa that he was leaving the Hidden House Zhao. Old Zhao didn't have any qualms about Zhao Qibing going to see Han Xiaopa. At a time like this, it was best not to piss off Han Xiaopa and Lin Yi. At least, the Hidden House Zhao didn't have the confidence to deal with Lin Yi at the moment. He didn't know what the Hidden House Yi was thinking, but old Zhao wouldn't provoke Lin Yi unless he had the confidence to win. Half an hour later, at the entrance of Dazzling Coffee Shop, Zhao Qibing saw Han Xiaopa's Mercedes-Benz C. He was driving a Porsche Cayenne. It was a new one, too. He'd given the previous one to Lin Yi. "Master Pur, sorry to keep you waiting." Zhao Qibing did a good job on the surface. "I've just arrived as well, Master Bing, please." Han Xiaopa nodded to him. The two entered the coffee shop, and a waiter came to greet them. No one here knew who these two young masters of the hidden House Han and House Zhao were, but judging from the Mercedes-Benz and Porsche, they weren't normal people, so the waiter didn't dare to be rude. A private room, Han Xiaopa said to the waiter. All right, please follow me. The waiter has arranged a private room for Han Xiaopa and Zhao Qibing. Han Xiaopa, on the other hand, ordered some random things and passed the menu to Zhao Qibing. Just the same as him, Zhao Qibing didn't come here to drink coffee, he didn't care what to drink. The waiter quickly brought their drinks, and after the waiter left, Han Xiaopa spoke up. Master Bing, boss told me to come here for two things. One is about the Sky Elixir School's test, and the other is about Zhao Qikuan. Zhao Qikuan? Zhao Qibing's eyes froze. He didn't expect this question from Han Xiaopa, but then he remembered that Zhao Qikuan had already exposed his relationship with Lin Yi, and when Lin Yi asked him about it, his panicked expression told Lin Yi that something was up. That's right. Do you know where he is now, Master Bing? I want to talk to him, but I can't get in touch with him. Han Xiaopa nodded. Gu Master Per, Qikuan's matter involves my family, so I can't make the decision. How about this? I'll give Grandpa a call and ask about it, and then I'll get back to you. Is that all right? Zhao Qibing thought about it and said, Sure. Han Xiaopa answered quickly. Zhao Qibing nodded and smiled gratefully. He walked to the end of the corridor and quickly dialed his grandpa's number. Qibing, how is it? Did you see Han Xiaopa? What did he say to you? Old Zhao saw that it was Zhao Qibing calling and quickly picked it up. Chapter 2350. I see. Han Xiaopa nodded, thinking that Qibing's words made sense, but it was a little weird. Plus, Grandpa is the head of the house. How could he participate? My father is the young master of the house. Naturally, he can't go himself. Qibing said, seeing that Han Xiaopa didn't believe him. We were planning on letting Elder Bai go with Zhao Qikuan, but unfortunately, Elder Bai was injured by Lin Yi boss, and he missed the chance to participate in the Sky Elixir School. It's a huge loss for us, House Xiao. I see. This time, Han Xiaopa believed Qibing's words. If Elder Bai went, then it would be normal. He didn't believe that House Zhao would let go of a chance to get a third-level elixir. Otherwise, the hidden House Zhao wouldn't have become enemies with the hidden House Yu just because of a third-level qi-gathering pill. Yeah, that's basically all I know. This isn't on the list, Qibing said. As for the rest, I don't know. After all, it's not easy to get this much information. All right, thank you, Master Bing. Han Xiaopa got the answer he wanted, and he wasn't in the mood to drink coffees. He needed to report to Lin Yi. You're welcome. Qibing waved his hand. Right, Lin Yi boss is participating in the Sky Elixir School's test? Should be. Han Xiaopa didn't deny it. Oh? If that's the case, if Boss Lin Yi could help us take care of Qikuan during the test, we'd be eternally grateful. Qibing said after thinking for a bit. His intentions were very sinister. Zhao Qikuan was very weak. He was only mystic, not even Earth class. If Lin Yi brought him along, it'd be very dangerous. Even if Lin Yi had the chance to complete the test, he'd be dragged to death by Zhao Qikuan. I'll talk to the boss. As for whether he agrees or not, I can't make the decision. Han Xiaopa naturally couldn't agree directly. Then I'll trouble you, Master Pe. Qibing was very happy. With Lin Yi's personality, there was no way he'd abandon his follower, especially after knowing that his follower was imprisoned and sent to the Sky Elixir School test. Lin Yi definitely wouldn't give up on helping Zhao Qikuan. I'm done. I'll be on my way. Han Xiaopa nodded and put down his empty cup. As for helping Zhao Qikuan, I'll talk to the boss about it. But if you guys from the hidden house Zhao want to help, you'd better give us something in return. The boss won't be doing this for free. Qibing knew that Lin Yi was good at blackmailing people, so he didn't mind using this opportunity. Lin Yi was definitely helping Qikuan, but as far as he was concerned, House Xiao didn't know that Qikuan was Lin Yi's follower. Zhao Qibing was taken aback. Motherfucker, you're helping your follower, and you still care about our hidden house, Zhao? We can't wait for Qikuan to die. But he couldn't show his displeasure right now. He didn't want Han Xiaopa to know that House Xiao already knew about the relationship between Zhao Qikuan and Lin Yi. What if Lin Yi came to get him? Then wouldn't the plan be ruined? With that in mind, Qibing could only say, "Of course, I'll tell Grandpa about this." After seeing Han Xiaopa, Qibing immediately went back to the hidden house and told his grandpa about the conversation he had with Han Xiaopa, not leaving out a single word. "Woo, Qibing, you did well, killing with a borrowed knife." Old Zhao nodded, but his brows were slightly furrowed. He was thinking much more than Zhao Qibing, much further than Zhao Qibing. Therefore, he also saw the drawbacks in this matter. But, oh, Grandpa, what's wrong? Is there any harm in this? Qibing paused. Guangyin, what do you think? Old Master Zhao turned to look at Guangyin and asked, Father, I don't think there's anything wrong with this. Qibing is very quick-witted, using a borrowed knife to kill Lin Yi and Zhao Qikuan. Guangyin didn't think there was anything wrong with Qibing's plan. This way, the two unstable factors of House Zhao were removed. It was killing two birds with one stone. Sigh. Old Zhao sighed as he looked at Zhao Guangyin and Zhao Qibing. He felt a little regretful. The hidden house Zhao really couldn't survive from Zhao Guangyin's generation. Although the plan wasn't a big problem, and it was a good thing from a normal point of view, but from another point of view, it was an unstable factor. Seeing that the father and son were confused, old Zhao could only say it himself. Lin Yi participating in the Sky Elixir sex test might be sending Zhao Qikuan to his death, but from another point of view, Lin Yi participating in the Sky Elixir sex test, not only would he not die, but he could even protect Zhao Qikuan? This isn't impossible, because Lin Yi's strength is there for all to see. Wah! Guangyin and Qibing froze, finally understanding what old Zhao was worried about. Indeed, they didn't think of this possibility, because they were analyzing the situation according to the previous Sky Elixir sec tests. After all, most of the participants never returned, and only a small number of them could pass the test and get the rewards. There were even cases where all the participants were wiped out. As far as they were concerned, with Lin Yi and Qikuan going, with Zhao Qikuan dragging Lin Yi down, there was no doubt that Lin Yi would die. But they had overlooked one important point, Lin Yi's strength. Lin Yi was an Earth-class mid-phase, but he wasn't a normal Earth-class mid-phase. He was someone who could kill Earth-class late-phase peak in one hit. Elder Bai, who was half a step into Sky-class, was crippled by Lin Yi in one move, unable to fight back at all. What kind of strength was that? That's right, Qibing, your grandpa was right. The two of us had overlooked the most important point. This year's test doesn't have a strength restriction like the previous ones. As long as you're mystic and above, you can participate. As an Earth-class mid-phase, Lin Yi has a high chance of passing the test, and with Zhao Qikuan's relationship with Lin Yi, he might be protected by Lin Yi to pass the test. Guangyin nodded in agreement. Chapter 23:51. It's not too late to make amends. Plus, as strong as Lin Yi is, he might not be able to pass the test. Old Zhao waved his hand and smiled. According to my deductions, Lin Yi isn't weak, but the Sky Elixir sect has a lot of masters. If they sent their masters, wouldn't they be stronger than Lin Yi? If they sent their own masters to collect the items themselves, wouldn't that be easier? Why would they waste so much and use a third-level pill as a reward? That's true, then why? Guangyin nodded, confused. Haha, I think it's because in the test, one's strength is negligible. The danger they face isn't determined by strength. For example, in front of a legendary Heavenly Dao Master, Mystic, Earth, and even Sky classes in their eyes, they're all ants. Old Zhao said. So, I think that as long as there's danger in the test, no matter how strong you are, you won't be able to escape. Those who escape by luck, it's not because they're strong, but because they're lucky. That's my deduction. That makes sense. Zhao Guangyin nodded. No wonder they limited the number of participants to between Mystic class and Earth class. I'm afraid it's because even the most powerful trial takers wouldn't be of much use. This year, the Heavenly Elixir sect lifted the limit, probably because they really need this kind of thing. So they had to increase the number of participants. Yes, so Lin Yi and Qikuan might very well die together. Old Zhao said. But it's better to be safe than sorry. What if they come back? Zhao Qikuan gets the third-level pill, and I promised him that he could become an elder of the house. This would be a threat to Qibing's position. If I'm alive, I can keep it under control, but there's the possibility that after 100 years, Zhao Qikuan's strength will increase by leaps and bounds with Lin Yi's help. At that point, Qibing would be in danger. Then what do we do? Qibing's face changed. If Zhao Qikuan really came back, then his position in the house would skyrocket. His position would be threatened. So, before that, we have to do something, Old Zhao said. Old Zhao said, if we can kill Lin Yi before the test, then Zhao Qikuan will die for sure. Before the trial? Kill Lin Yi? How could that be? If our Zhao family had that kind of power, we would have made a move long ago. Why would we wait until now? Zhao Guangyin asked curiously. Is Grandpa going to do it himself? Qibing paused. Hee, I naturally won't make a move. Old Master Zhao shook his head. Is that the hidden house you? Right. Is the hidden house you about to make a move? Guangyin sighed and thought of this possibility. I did call Elder Yu, but his attitude was ambiguous. I don't know what he wants. I don't think it's possible for him to help. Old Lord Zhao waved his hand and said, I'm talking about another person. Furthermore, it's also using a borrowed knife to kill. Actually, this was also inspired by elite armament. Although I received the news before and knew about this, I didn't think too deeply about it. But now, I've thought of a good method. Oh? Who's strong enough to kill Lin Yi? Guangyin was startled. He didn't expect such a strong person to exist. Southeast Asia's gambling king, Pu Huati. Old Zhao said, Southeast Asia's gambling king? What does he have to do with Lin Yi? Guangyin didn't understand what this person could do. Pu Huati has been invited to Donghai's biggest casino to fight against the gambling king Zhu Qi Shou from Harbor City. Of course, although he's the gambling king of Southeast Asia, he's also an ability user, and his combat ability is very high. No one knows exactly how strong he is, but what I do know is that he has an Earth-class late-phase peak as well as a dual practitioner bodyguard. With the two of them together, they should be able to beat Lin Yi. Old Zhao's eyes flashed as he spoke. But he and Lin Yi don't have anything to do with each other. Guangyin was confused. If there is no intersection, we can create an intersection. Old Zhao said, as far as I know, this Pu Huati is a lecher. Every night, he must sleep with a virgin. She can't be too old, and she must be beautiful. He's very demanding. The brothels in Donghai can't satisfy his needs. Then, Guangyin still didn't understand what Old Zhao meant. But Old Zhao continued. So, a few days before gambling king Zhu Qi Shou arrived, the person in charge of the casino, Gambling Bro, had been helping him find virgins to sleep with him at a high price. In the end, he had no choice but to kidnap them on the streets. But the first time he kidnapped them, they were targeted by the police. Not only did the kidnapping fail, but Gambling Bro's underlings were also arrested. You should know that the police have been cracking down on kidnapping cases recently. These unprofessional gangsters still dared to go against the law. They were asking for trouble. After the kidnapping failed, Pu Huati could only gamble with others in the casino every day. He forced his opponents who lost everything to use their daughters to pay off their debts, or directly forced them to use their daughters to bet. Of course, the advantage of this was that these gamblers could only accept their fate and didn't dare to call the police. But it was enough to see how lecherous Pu Huati was. He didn't even want the large sum of money he won in exchange for a night of pleasure. Then, how can we let Pu Huati and Lin Yi become enemies? Guangyin still didn't quite understand his father's meaning. It's time for that illegitimate daughter of yours to come in handy, Old Man Zhao said lightly. Illegitimate daughter? Mine? Guangyin was stunned. Isn't there another use for her? To give her to? I'm not asking you to give her to Pu Huati, but to use her as bait to cause a conflict between Lin Yi and Pu Huati, Old Zhao said with a wave of his hand. Find someone to pretend to be her father and bring her to the casino to lose to Pu Huati, then inform Lin Yi. I see. Guangyin nodded and said, but, will Lin Yi care? He doesn't seem to care, does he? Lin Yi doesn't care about other people, but people who are old friends with Lin Yi, he'll always care. Old Zhao smiled coldly. He'll even care about Zhao Qikuan, let alone Chen Shi. With the relationship between Lin Yi and Chen Shi, there's no way he won't care. Chapter 2352. Reminisce? Why would he want to reminisce with Zhao Qikuan? Does he know Zhao Qikuan? Old Zhao paused, frowning. I don't think so, but I feel like it's Lin Yi's intention. Qibing said, last time, I crashed his car in front of the movie theater, and he asked me about Zhao Qikuan. I see. It seems like Lin Yi suspects that we're doing something to Zhao Qikuan. Old Zhao nodded, remembering what Qibing had said before. He didn't pay much attention to it, but now that he was connected to Han Xiaopa, he was in a difficult position. Yeah, if I tell him the truth, what if Lin Yi asks for him straight away? Qibing said worriedly. How about this? Didn't Han Xiaopa ask you about the Sky Elixir School's test? This means that he's interested in the Sky Elixir test. Old Zhao was indeed a shrewd man, quickly coming up with a solution. This way, you tell him the truth, that Zhao Qikuan is going to represent our hidden house Zhao to participate in the Sky Elixir School's test, and that's why he's in seclusion and has no contact with the outside world. Oh. Qibing paused, understanding what his grandpa meant. This way, when Lin Yi hears that Zhao Qikuan is going to participate in the test, he'll be even more determined to go himself. This test is basically a one-way trip, and Lin Yi will die there. We've achieved our goal of killing him with a borrowed knife. Not bad, Qibing. You've become very smart now. Old man Zhao nodded in relief. This is also the reason why I sent you to see Han Xiaopa without any hesitation after hearing what you said just now. If Lin Yi wants to know about the Sky Elixir School's test, tell him more. It's best if he participates in the test and dies. I understand, Grandpa. I'll try my best to tell you more about the benefits of the test. Qibing quickly said after he thought it through. That won't do either. Han Xiaopa isn't a fool. Although the hidden Han family has never participated in the Heavenly Elixir sex trial, they have heard about the dangers of the trial. You can't just say it's good. While you're saying it's good, you have to objectively explain the dangers. Of course, you can emphasize the benefits of the trial rewards of the Heavenly Elixir sect. Old Master Zhao reminded. Yes, Grandpa. I know what to do. Qibing nodded. He hung up and went back to his room to see Han Xiaopa sipping his coffee. How's it going, Master Bing? What's going on in your house? Han Xiaopa asked after Qibing came in. I didn't want to hide this from you, but actually, Zhao Qikuan and the Sky Elixir School's test are basically the same thing. Qibing said. The same thing? What do you mean? Han Xiaopa didn't understand. Grandpa has talked to Qikuan. He'll be representing our hidden house Zhao to participate in the Sky Elixir School's test. He's in seclusion right now, so it's normal that you can't contact him. Qibing said, I can't just say it without Grandpa's approval. Please forgive me, Master Purr. Zhao Qikuan, participate in the Sky Elixir School's test? Han Xiaopa paused. He didn't expect this answer. This made him a little confused, but from the looks of it, it was most likely true. That's right. If it weren't for Master Pa asking, we wouldn't have said anything. After all, it's their own business. Qibing said, as for the Sky Elixir School's test, this is the situation. I won't talk about the things on the list. Everyone knows about it. What I want to say is that the Heavenly Elixir School trial is a very dangerous trial. However, as for how dangerous it is, the trial takers who are lucky enough to complete the task have been ordered to keep their mouths shut. They don't dare to speak carelessly. We, the hidden Zhao family, didn't get much information, but we have some clues. Please speak. Han Xiaopa said quickly. It's said that this test is about collecting a certain amount of things in a certain place. As long as you collect enough, you can exchange it with the Sky Elixir School. Qibing said, the rules are very clear. During the test, you can't kill each other, and you can't steal each other's things. If anyone breaks the rules, the result will be invalid, and you'll have to face the wrath of the entire Sky Elixir School. Oh. Han Xiaopa didn't think that the test would be like this. If they couldn't kill each other, then it should be pretty simple. Why did so many people never return? With that in mind, Han Xiaopa asked. Then, what if we do something in the dark and no one returns? The identity of the participants isn't public. Only the Sky Elixir sect knows about it. So there are always people from the Sky Elixir sect mixed in every batch. If they were to see it, haha, then their family and sect would be in trouble. Cheebing said, "That's why it's almost impossible. I've also heard that the danger comes from the environment and the spirit beasts there. So everyone can't even protect themselves once they get there. Who would have the energy to fight among themselves? I heard that the things you need to collect aren't too hard, so there's no need for conflicts of interest." "I see. Thank you, Master Bing." Han Xiaopa nodded. His understanding of the Sky Elixir School's test had deepened, but he was a little confused. But if that's the case, why don't the Sky Elixir School just send a few Sky class? Wouldn't the success rate be higher, and they wouldn't have to pay such a high price? I'm not sure about that. In the past, the test was limited to Mystic and Earth class, not including Earth class, Cheebing said. But this time, the rules have been changed. As long as you're above Mystic class, it's not limited to Earth class. Oh, there was a rule like this before? Han Xiaopa hadn't really studied it before, only glancing through it briefly. He didn't compare the details. Wouldn't there be a higher chance of completing the mission if they sent a Sky class? Why don't you send someone more powerful to the hidden Zhao family? Chapter 23:53. Of course, this cultivation vessel had to be given to an important person from an ancient sect at a crucial time in exchange for the right to participate in the hidden House Zhao's plan. I understand. Guangyi nodded. I'll arrange for someone to take Qinshi away, and then I'll appear myself to talk to her mother about this and have her call Linny for help. Yes, that's it. Old Zhao nodded. Qinshi will be fine, but Lin Yi will be dead for sure. Even if he doesn't die, he'll be in trouble. Pu Huati's background is quite deep. His father is the second head of the #1 mafia in Southeast Asia, right, Mioman? If he dies, Lin Yi will be in endless trouble. Haha, what a good way to kill with a borrowed knife. Cheebing laughed. Grandpa, you're the best. The older, the wiser. It seems like I need to learn more. And old Zhao nodded with a smile after hearing Cheebing's words. The kid was worth teaching. After parting ways with Cheebing, Han Xiaopa contacted Lin Yi immediately, relaying everything Cheebing had said to him without missing a single word. Every term has a limit. Only this term doesn't have it? Lin Yi frowned after hearing Cheebing's words. What was the Heavenly Elixir sect doing? It was weird, but he didn't know what was weird about it either. If the test was dangerous, then wouldn't the higher the strength, the safer it would be? The higher the chance of leaving alive? Was it because the Sky Elixir School was in urgent need of that kind of stuff and had to relax the conditions? Or was there some other reason? If it was the former, then couldn't they send their own masters? Why did they have to take out a third-level elixir and treasures of the same value in exchange? Wasn't that a bit too much of a waste? No, Zhao Qibing doesn't know the reason either. He even suspects that the Sky Elixir School was negligent, Han Xiaopa said. I see. Linny nodded, but no matter what, the conditions had changed. This was beneficial to him. Otherwise, he would not be able to participate in the trial if he was still restricted like before. He was already an expert above the Earth rank. Yes, as for Zhao Qikuan, I've asked him, and this is what he said. Han Xiaopa said as he told Lin Yi where Zhao Qikuan went. Chitan is also participating in the Heavenly Elixir sex trial? Lin Yi was surprised. He didn't think that the hidden house Zhao would arrange things like this. Lin Yi didn't really believe that Qikuan wouldn't be able to contact the outside world, but this was most likely true. But it was very likely that Qikuan wasn't willing, he was forced. Perhaps they had already discovered Qikuan's ambition, and in order for Qibing to get the position smoothly, they locked him up, wanting to use this Sky Elixir School's test to get rid of Qikuan. Otherwise, Qikuan wouldn't be able to do anything before he went into seclusion. No matter what, they should have contacted him to inform him of the situation. It was impossible for there to be no movement at all. Yes, but Zhao Qibing said something else. If you participate in the trial, you can take care of Zhao Qikuan, Han Xiaopa said. Oh? Lin Yi paused, understanding what the hidden house Zhao and Zhao Qibing meant. using a borrowed knife to kill someone. Not only did they know about Chikuin's ambition, but they also knew about his relationship with Chikuin. And so, not only did they want to get rid of Zhao Chikuin, but they also wanted to use the relationship between Lin Yi and Zhao Chikuin to get rid of Lin Yi as well. After all, the Heavenly Elixir sex trial was extremely dangerous. Most people didn't make it back, and if Lin Yi were to go and take care of a mystic, he might not even be able to protect himself. What do you say? Lin Yi asked Han Xiaopa after thinking it through. I said it. I asked you to take care of him, but you couldn't do it for free. You had to at least show some sincerity. He used the opportunity to ask for some benefits from the hidden house Xiao, and Zhao Qibing didn't reject it. Han Xiaopa said, Well done. Lin Yi smiled. Since I'm destined to take care of Zhao Chikuin, I'll take care of him. Then we might as well let the Zhao family spend a bit more. Yeah, boss. Should I participate in this trial as well? Han Xiaopa asked. It's too dangerous. Don't go. Lin Yi sighed. It's already hard enough for me to protect one Zhao Chikuin. If there's another, it'll be too much for me. I understand. I won't sign up then. Han Xiaopa knew that Lin Yi was telling the truth, but he was not angry. After all, the difference in strength between him and Lin Yi was like heaven and earth. I have a small qi gathering pill here. I forgot to give it to you today. If you need it, you can come and get it anytime. Lin Yi said, Haha, it's fine. My family doesn't need it right now. Han Xiaopa smiled, not caring. Lin Yi hung up and went into deep thought. One thing was for sure, this Sky Elixir sex trial was not simple. This was also why the hidden house Zhao wanted to use this trial to get rid of Zhao Chikuin. This test, however, was very important to Lin Yi. The Sky Elixir sect would definitely have the rainbow steel, blue crystal powder, and pure yellow jade. The Sky Elixir sect would definitely have the rainbow steel, and perhaps the other two materials as well. So Lin Yi had to go no matter what. Now that Chikuin was there, it gave Lin Yi more confidence. He couldn't just ignore Chikuin's business. Of course, if it weren't for the fact that Lin Yi wanted to get something from the trial, Lin Yi would have gone straight to House Zhao. With his current strength, even if he couldn't beat old Zhao, he could still escape with Chikuin. Although Lin Yi was confident that normal Earth-class late-phase peak masters were no match for him, there was always someone stronger. Even Taganlong and the Five Guardians could make Lin Yi lose. That was enough to explain everything. Even now, if Lin Yi were to face the Five Guardians and Taganlong again, he wouldn't be as weak as before. But he wouldn't be able to kill them easily. Plus, what about an unknown sky class? You're tuning in to the Warrior Lore YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.